not just a symbol or a target sign. A spell that attracts all who spit facts online all the time. Can you see it? All the ones who drag my name every single day. Can you see it? Can you see it? Can you see it? They keep saying you don't have what it takes to carve out your own name underneath the shadows of gods. And I keep waiting for the day disbelievers say I flew way too close to the sun. I wait, but it never really comes. The answer to my name is not just a symbol or a target sign. A spell that attracts all who speak facts online all the time. The answer to my name is not just a symbol or a target sign. A force that compels all to rebel from all right shackled minds. Why do they just stand there against when they fall from the battles I have overcome? We feel it, feel the cope and the seething tone that they make while I stand up, man among gods. And I keep vaping with my mill, shooting ropes in my cold that faces towards the sun. They hate, but I'm sitting comfy with their mom. The answer to my name is not just a symbol or a target sign. A spell that attracts all who speak facts online all the time. The answer to my name is not just a symbol or a target sign. A force that compels all to rebel from all that shackled mind. The answer to my name is not just a symbol or a target sign. A spell that attracts all who speak facts online all the time. The answer to my name is not just a symbol or a target sign. A force that compels all to rebel from all right shackled minds. It's you and me, your mom, it's me. I'll take another hit from my name. You'll see now, watch me not now, punch your face now. Show you how.
Good evening, everybody. Hello, hello. Welcome back. It is so good to be live again. It's so good to see all of you again. Hey there, Pillow. Kai says hi. Lord Rose 97, Tier Star, Orther's Dork, Summer Star, Water, Levy, Cryptid T, Roundabout, A Pillow. Good to see you, of course. Zoomy Dog. Yes, I'm greened out right now. Look at that. Well, damn it. My mom is currently visiting. She's using the bathroom right now, so the lights are going to not look as good with that light on. But how do you guys like my new lighting? I feel like it's pretty nice. Prancing Goldfish, thank you so much for the tier 1 sub. I really appreciate that. So kind of you. Thank you for the $5. Very, very kind. Said it is powerful. Yeah. Powdered sugar. Is that song lyrics or something? I don't know what you're referencing there. But thank you for the $5, Prancing Goldfish. I appreciate it. Very based of you. And Tierstar, thank you for the tier 1 sub. Didn't even say anything, but thank you for the $5. Very based of you as well. Hey, everybody. Hey, Xanderhall, Shadiversity made a novel and it's so shit and gross. A small YouTuber named Westside Tyler made a few videos covering it if you're curious. Maybe I'll look into it. I've heard that he writes books. I imagine they'd be dog shit, considering he's sort of like a chud. Zan, when you get naked, I need you naked now. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. You know, men don't get catcalled enough. I've been saying this. I'm literally always saying this. What the fuck did I just read? I'm not the one who said it. Why are you asking me? Mods ban them for 1,000 years. 1,000,000 years, dungeon! God. I hope you guys like my new lighting. I feel like it's, I don't think I've seen any other streamers rocking this. Like, I don't think I've seen any other streamers whatsoever rocking a lighting setup like this. And to give you an idea of how cool it can be, because I know we've got some new people here. I'll go ahead and switch it through a few modes. This isn't really all that exciting of a mode, honestly. This is probably my least favorite. This one's alright. This is sort of Christmassy colors. I think I might go with this one for the 12 Days of Christmas streams. It's green, white, and red. I feel like that's, you know, a proper color mix. Wait, don't actually ban them. Yeah. This one's really nice. The green and the blue. I feel like this is almost the same palette as what I was using for my old lights. No, have bisexual lighting now. This is like omnisexual lighting, dude. Like, this transcends everything. I love the lights. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, this is definitely a wintry one for sure. And then we've got, like, the Bifrost. Like, I'm in Asgard right now. Am I covering the DM hit piece? It was so bad. I don't know if I've got the energy to deal with fucking drama videos today, but I am up for covering it. I heard it's pretty bad. How on earth did Zan get underwater? That's supposed to be my thing. And then, of course, we've got The Void. I like this one a lot. Where I'm in the Void right now. Pretty dope. Pretty awesome. This is the full RGB color cycle. Honestly, I wouldn't be opposed to just setting it to the color cycle. But I almost think it's more exciting if I just set it to one color each stream. And every stream I've got a different color. Would that be cooler, or do you guys want the color cycle? I'll leave it on the color cycle for a moment so you can see what it has to offer. Can I slow it down? Maybe, actually. That might be a thing. Nope, that doesn't do anything. Yeah, I think this is just what it does. I don't think it can be slowed. I'm gonna be honest, this is like the perfect speed for it. How do I make a poll, Zan? Are polls like broken or something? Aurora Borealis, at this time of year, at this time of day, at this part of the country, localized entirely in your bedroom. Yeah. The funny thing is, they forgot the, at this part of the country, part of the copy pasta, and I had to add it in there, because I remember the steamed hams copy pasta. Zan, what are your lights called? I need to know. They're $35 on Amazon. They're called Aurora projectors. did post the Amazon links online recently. They're pretty damn cheap for what they are. 35 bucks, and they come with a really neat feature. I leave them on while I fall asleep because it's super like soothing to fall asleep to. But if you don't want to have to like worry about them overheating, starting a fire, drawing a lot of power, and raising your electric bill, it's actually on the remote. You've got a little 0 hour. So this is like, I don't even know what hitting this does. I guess 30 minutes maybe. You've got 1 hour, which will make it shut off after an hour. You've got 3 hour, and then you've got 6 hour. I have it set to 6 hour right now. I honestly should probably... There we go. Lock it in for another 6 hours, but it has a nice sleep timer built in. It's always off when I wake up in the morning, which is nice to know that when I'm asleep and I don't, I'm not looking at it, it's just drawing power for no reason, it shuts off. Please, Zan, may you cover the Sega of America Union drama? I will even donate for you to cover it. Sure, maybe. Later today in the stream, sure. Xander Hall, Zan, that lolly VTuber tried to went after a NSFW 18+ artist and tried to project on them for, project on them being a pedo? Yeah, I mean, Rev says Desu has like 800,000 subs and is a pedophile and uploads pretty regularly. They're always going to be doing crazy shit. Guys, I can't become a Rev says Desu, reply guy channel. Unlike Vosh, Zan actually covers lots of Segis. That is true. I do tend to do more segments per stream than he does. Hey, Every Gretel. No, I didn't drop the link to the lights in Discord. I dropped them in website chat last stream. They're on Amazon. They're just called Aurora projectors, and they're 35 bucks each. What's this tweet, Slashy? Let me take a look. So Sega is just doing union busting? I suppose we'll have to do a story about that. Did you see John Oliver covering the thing that's happening? Yeah, John Oliver's coverage was great. It was really, really good. I think it was probably one of my favorite, if not my favorite episode of John Oliver's show. Oh wait, did you get the second light setup, Zan? Oh yeah, this is 2 going at once. Like, 1 alone is pretty damn good, but this is 2, where 1 is right there, shining that way, and the other is back there, shining that way. And they're both angled upwards towards the ceiling, mostly, so that the ceiling is getting a fair amount of light as well. So I've got a whole lot more on the ceiling above me that you guys can't even see. Yeah. Get a third one. I'm definitely going to get more. I definitely am going to get more. Both for my office that I get in my new place in December/January, and as well as in my living room of said new place, so I can light up my living room like this if I have guests over. Just steal the northern lights. It'll be easier. True. I want party space lights. They are awesome. They are very, very cool. And of course, I can turn off the stars. And it can just be this. Like, I can have it just be the pattern, but I'm gonna be real. I kind of think it looks better with the stars. It almost looks like magical particle bits, or almost like I'm in space, surrounded by, like, space energy. Yeah, I like the stars. The stars stay on. The stars stay on during sex. I forgot Xander Hall reads YouTube chat. You know what I wouldn't be opposed to? Getting one mounted on the ceiling and pointed down at the floor so that there's also the pattern on the floor and like on the bed and stuff. But I wonder how much that would make sleeping difficult. Like you would think it would be difficult to sleep as it is now, but it's really not. The lights are bright enough to light up the room, but dark and dim enough that when you close your eyes, you have complete pitch blackness. So it's pretty solid. Yeah, I'm in the orbit of the Earth right now. God, that's pretty. I like the red, too. Like, when we do horror games, we're going to do the deep red. And I'm going to be in hell while we're doing horror games. It's going to be cool. I call this the Emerald Dream. Like from WoW. It's got that vibe. Demon Mama's suing the person who made the video. Hot damn. Christmas colors for Zanmis? Oh, yes. Yeah. A big part of why these lights are so cool is I can change the color theme of them based on the theme of the stream. So it's going to be pretty neat. But yeah. Pepper T21, thank you for the 5 tier 1 gifted subs. Gifted to Lucky Otter. Thank you so freaking much. Nikolai Prime, Shrimp, DJ Reaper Skier, and Cryptid T. I hope they all appreciate it too. Thank you, thank you. I appreciate the $25. And you sent a YouTube link and said, this is a real comic. Thanos helps an old lady cross the street. I love these, like, comic channels that go over random, like, niche Marvel or DC comics where some weird shit happens.
That time Thanos helped an old lady cross the street. At first glance it seems like a generous and selfless act, but his true intentions go beyond what we imagine. It turns out that by stopping the bus for the old lady, Thanos intentionally caused the bus to be delayed, setting off a chain event that will affect the future life of a passenger named Stephanie Kirchen. Stephanie was destined to change the world. She would cure all diseases, solving world hunger, and stop inequality. She would turn the Earth into a paradise, and from there, the whole universe. But thanks to Thanos, Stephanie never met Suzanne, a woman who helped after crashing into her, resulting in a desire to help more people. Stephanie spent the rest of her days living a simple and boring life. And decades later, when she was just minutes away from her own death, Thanos arrives and shows her what her life would be if he hadn't intervened. And in her final moments, she realizes how Thanos stole her life in exchange for ashes.
Thanos is such an asshole. At least he has the Thanos copter. I fucking love the Thanos copter, dude. Thank you for the $25, Pepper T21. Very based and pog of you. Slashy, thank you for the $5 donation. Very based and poggers of you as well. Thank you, thank you. Said, promise donation for Sega doing union busting. A broken link, because you didn't do the space, but I'll figure it out. Also, conveniently had layoffs right around the same time. And then another link, which hopefully will work if I isolate it. You guys gotta make sure you put spaces between, like, the link won't work if it's attached to the last word of your sentence. It's all good, though. This Thanos dude sounds like a real mean guy. My 3-monitor setup is great for watching Xanderhall streams. I used to have a 3-monitor setup, but then I got a much smaller desk. I will be back to a 3-monitor setup in the future, maybe even a 4-monitor setup. I wouldn't be opposed to that. Just like have a monitor for whatever it is that I'm covering on stream, a monitor for OBS and like my chats, a monitor for like having Twitter open, and then a monitor for having Discord open. That would go hard as fuck. I would be able to keep an eye on everything all at once without having to tab out of anything or close any windows. May I recommend cheap portable monitors? I'm talking about, like, in the far future when I can afford to get, like, 4 nice monitors. Three monitor displays for sim racing. Ah, cool. Have you ever considered getting into, like, VR, Microsoft Flight Simulator? I really like that game. From what I've seen of it, it looks so freaking cool. I've considered, like, at some point in the future, getting the equipment to do this. Microsoft Flight Simulator, Seattle to Tampa. Let's see. Okay, here's someone in Microsoft Flight Simulator flying over Tampa. That works for me. Dude, this game is insane. I'm pretty sure this is using some graphical mods, but this is footage from 2020. The game's only gotten better looking since then. And you can get like a full, like, cockpit controller system for your plane simulation game. And you can play this in VR and actually physically be in the cockpit here. Hey, Zan, are you going to go over the Vosh versus DFF debate on anti-electoralism? It was pretty great, got very heated, ad homs, etc. I haven't heard about that debate, but maybe I'll check it out. Thank you for the recommendation. Maybe. Anyway, check out this game. It looks so neat. Yeah, I know, I said cock. You guys are 5. Look at this. Imagine this in VR. I could find footage of it, but I wouldn't be able to find footage that is this particular flight. This game uses footage, or not footage, like photos and scans from Google Earth. So you can literally fly over your house in this game.
Tampa Tower Dare Alpha Sierra X-Ray Golf Sierra Alpha Frequency.
Yeah, this is a game, Lord Rose 97. This is Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Tampa Approach Dare Alpha Sierra X-Ray Golf Sierra Alpha is type Dare.
I 9/11 to my childhood home in this game. Jesus Christ. If you really look closely, you can see the jaggedness of the landscape and the houses, but if you really just kind of let your eyes blur and you just look at it like it's Google Images, it's like, that looks pretty real. I'll have you know we are at least as emotionally mature as 12-year-olds. Maybe. If I ever say, like, 69, cockpit, Uranus, any funny word, you guys react like Beavis and Butthead. And I would have it no other way. I did say cock. That I did. That's pretty awesome, though. This makes me excited for GTA 6 somehow. Unironically, this is Tampa, Florida, guys. This is not far off from what Grand Theft Auto 6 gameplay is going to look like when you hijack a plane. Assuming they somewhat faithfully adapt the way Florida looks, Tampa will 100% be a map. Okay. Think for a moment, guys. What was the last big game Rockstar released? And we're going to find out in, like, less than a week. More about GTA 6, by the way. Red Dead Redemption 2. Now, Red Dead 2 was a big game. A huge game. And it was so big, in fact, that they decided to make it, well, this is more of a Red Dead thing than a GTA thing, mostly countryside, with a bunch of different towns and city locations to visit. I'll actually let this play while I talk. The idea in Red Dead Redemption 2 was that it was pretty much most of America you were exploring. Like, the bottom right of the map was New Orleans. The bottom left of the map was, like, Texas and on the border to Mexico. The top left of the map was supposed to be, like, Colorado, Oregon, maybe a bit of Washington State. Like, that northern northwestern corner of the country. And then the top right part of the map is supposed to be like North Carolina, Virginia, that kind of area. So you are, the map isn't obviously that big, but it's sort of a shrunk down recreation of a pretty substantial amount of America. North Carolina mentioned, let's fucking go, real. It's a pretty substantial amount of America sort of recreated. Now, obviously that's pretty extreme. Grand Theft Auto 6 is a much more advanced game than Red Dead 2. It has been in the oven no doubt longer. It's like Grand Theft Auto is bigger than Red Dead as a franchise. Just that is objectively true. Which tells me they aren't just going to have it be Vice City or Miami and maybe some like countryside around it. They're going to let us explore most of Florida. From the Keys to the goddamn Panhandle, I think they're going to let us explore, which is why I think this is not far off from how Grand Theft Auto 6 gameplay is going to look. As far as I know, they're going for a more densely populated, smaller map for GTA 6. There's no way that you have that type of knowledge confirmed. Rockstar has been tight-lipped about the existence of GTA 6. You guys know that, right? Like, guys, Rockstar hasn't even announced GTA 6 is real yet. I think maybe they have in the form of, like, standby for announcements. But besides that, they haven't even, like, come forward with it being real. The only thing we had were leaks. And based on the leaks, what I'm saying is accurate. Obviously, I can't show the leaks without getting massively copyright striked. And sued, maybe. Exactly, a pillow. Yeah. Anyway, I'm excited. Like, I am pretty fucking excited for Grand Theft Auto 6. I really, really am. It's gonna be awesome. And on top of that, I think some info that we've gotten is that one of the main characters is a single mom, which I just know is going to trigger the fuck out of conservatives. I've even seen them saying, wait, what? A Grand Theft Auto character being a parent? That doesn't fit at all with the series. And it's like, did you play GTA 5? Did you play the missions with Michael and Trevor where you have to kind of kidnap his daughter? Did you do the mission where you jump into the fucking ocean to get on the yacht? Like, okay. But I guess like the idea behind it, and Jimmy as well, who is famously like a meme character on the internet, his son. Although, to be fair, there is a pretty strong theory that Michael's daughter isn't his daughter, and that it's Brad's daughter. Which I actually think is fairly... I think that's probably the case. Especially when you look at, like, their hair and eyes. I think it was Dark Viper AU who pointed that out. Dark Viper AU is based when he stays with, like, GTA content. And I think some of his criticism of, like, React content is pretty good. Because I do think a lot of it is, like, leeching disgusting bullshit. But he has gone on the record to say he thinks all forms of live, like, response video or React video, regardless of how much pausing there is, no matter how much transformative additions there are, you cannot do it in a live format without it being leeching. Like, he has gone on record saying the only form of reaction or response content he would allow is, like, pre-scripted response videos with like editing and whatnot. His core disagreement seems to be with the fact that people put a bunch of effort into a video, and then people who put less effort in are able to, in some way, arguably profit off of it. And he has a problem with the disparity in effort and takes moral issue with that. Anyway. Let me finish reading donos. Slashy, thank you for the $5. I really appreciate it. Very based of you. Very pog. Very, very epic. Said, promise donation for Sega doing union busting. Oh yeah, I already read that one. Hold on. I forgot to click it away after I read it. Thank you. I appreciate it. I will check out that topic whenever we get to it. Thank you so much. Let me update the dono goal really quick, just to reflect all of your kind support so far. Oh, what do you mean? Oh. There we go. All right. I think it's time to get into topics, huh? Who cares to delay? Who cares to delay? All right. Y'all know what to do when I say action, right? 3, 2, 1, action. Well, everybody, the Republicans are continuing their demonic crusade against the rights for people to control what happens to their bodies, that is, to have access to an abortion, or frankly, many forms of birth control that don't even, go that far. Things as far as Plan B, contraception, they're very much desiring to control the sex life of every single American. And it's very, very startling, to say the least. A little worried about that. And in light of that news, we've got a story coming out of Ohio that I figured we should cover. It's quite related to these Republicans' demonic ideals. Before I actually get into it, though, I feel like I need to give you some context, because I know many of you guys have never heard of Ohio. So for those that don't know what Ohio is, Ohio is a place where everything is weird. For example, if you try to play Minecraft in Ohio, it will go something like this. So yeah, pretty much that is the experience of living in Ohio, which is why, as you can imagine, when the Republicans try to go after the rights of Ohioans to have access to contraception, abortions, and what have you, it's really worrying, right? Now, when Republicans try to attack abortion rights, they typically go for one common strategy. And that is passing something that's been dubbed heartbeat bills. You see, the definition of a heartbeat is a little bit loose, right? Technically, the pulsing of tissue that will eventually form into the muscle that will eventually become the heart can be considered a heartbeat. And that is something that happens pretty early on in pregnancy. It even happens in unviable pregnancies fairly often, and you would be surprised at how many total pregnancies that happen every year are unviable. In fact, many, many women, at least those that are sexually active, have unviable pregnancies multiple times a year and just end up having a heavier than usual period because it just didn't stick. A surprising amount of fertilized eggs do not actually end up resulting in an embryo that proceeds to develop into a fetus. So, with that in mind, Republicans try to politicize this, and they try to point at this idea of a heartbeat. A heartbeat is, in many cultures and in many people's minds, a sign of life, a sign of a living being. And because of that, the Republicans say, the heartbeat, it's a baby, it has a heartbeat, it's alive. Now, I could break down the science of how what it is that is being detected is not actually a heartbeat, because the heart is a very, very complex organ in the human body, and for it to actually realistically be considered a heart, it would need to develop much further and for much longer. It doesn't matter. The Republicans have a lot of power in this country. Now, what one could argue is a detectable heartbeat tends to occur at around 6 weeks after fertilization of the egg, after conception, essentially. Sometimes it happens a bit sooner. Sometimes it happens a bit later. Every single, development of every single person goes a little bit different, and obviously development ends before it is supposed to many times, and you get a lot of unviable pregnancies, as I mentioned before. However, 6 weeks is what Republicans have pointed to as the reasonable moral cutoff. Now, to a lot of people, 6 weeks sounds like a lot. By a lot of people, I mean a lot of men. To a lot of men, 6 weeks sounds like a lot of time for a woman to figure out she's pregnant and to, seek out an abortion before the fetus has developed much further. Problem is, the vast majority of women who have gotten pregnant do not know that they are pregnant until after 6 weeks. The vast majority of women do not know until after 6 weeks. This statistic is extraordinarily common and very well known, is not challenged in the scientific or medical community, and is unanimously agreed upon in those spaces. The Republicans know this is true, and that is the intention. To politicize this idea of a heartbeat to lend credence to a law that on paper seems reasonable to the average person who's unfamiliar with the development cycle of an embryo, but to people who know what that kind of law entails is basically a guaranteed ban from access to an abortion. Now, obviously, you get all sorts of real smart-ass responses from conservatives like, oh, what, you need 6 weeks to know you got pregnant? If you had sex and things feel weird, then just go check, or hell, go check anyway. Take a pregnancy test after every time you have sex. Pregnancy tests, of course, give plenty of false positives and false negatives, so it's hard to know whether or not that's going to be a reliable result. And of course, further testing can be invasive and expensive. So it's very much a class issue. And, the American middle class has been pretty consistently shrinking. Most people don't have the money to afford an ultrasound or a pee test after every time they have sex. Most people don't have that money, and Republicans know that. Which is why they try to pass these bills that on the surface seem very reasonable to people who aren't really in the know on the science behind this stuff. But trust me, these Republican politicians are very in the know on the science behind this stuff. They know exactly what time period is perfect to instill this ban to maximize the amount of women not being able to get an abortion in time. Now, of course, trans men and non-binary people can also get pregnant and also need access to abortions, but I think it's fair to say that in the case of the abortion issue, Republicans' main motivation is to control the bodies of women more so than to control the bodies of trans men and non-binary people. That's sort of not even an afterthought to them. It's more so just their primary objective is controlling the bodily autonomy of women, to remove their agency. It is, of course, evil. And they are evil. Let's read this article now. Ohio Supreme Court to weigh abortion amendment's effect on heartbeat case. The Ohio Supreme Court is officially reopening its review of Ohio's 6-week heartbeat abortion ban in light of last week's passage of State Issue 1, the ballot issue that adds abortion rights to the state constitution. Let's go, Ohio! Chief Justice Sharon Kennedy, a Republican, issued an order Thursday giving a state attorney general, Dave Yost, and plaintiffs until December 7th to file written arguments stating what effect they think Issue 1 has on the case. December 7th is the same date that Issue 1 will go into effect after voters approved it in the November 7th election by a 57% to 43% margin. The development isn't surprising, but it illustrates the piecemeal manner through which the November 7th vote will actually go into effect, because Issue 1 changes Ohio's main governing document while not repealing any specific law. Any individual abortion law on the books would have to be the subject of a specific lawsuit challenging it. Then it will be up to courts, with the Ohio Supreme Court potentially having the final say to decide how Issue 1's passage affects the law. So, essentially, it is now a legally enshrined right in the state of Ohio. Thank you, Progressive Victory, by the way. That was one of the states that our friends over at Progressive Victory were fighting for. Ohio has now enshrined the right to access to an abortion in the constitution of the state, right? However, that does not instantly Thanos snap away every Republican abortion ban that has been passed in Ohio, okay? What it does is allows for a very, very powerful, what's the term for it? Standard to be pointed to when suing for the right to access to an abortion if one of these laws that is currently in place prevents it. So, for example, there's a very similar situation that happened in the state of California recently in the realm of firearm rights. Obviously, we nationally have the Second Amendment enshrined in our Constitution, which means that there's a very strong argument to be made in a courtroom that every form of gun control or gun safety policy is anti-constitutional and is thus, subject to getting shot down by the Second Amendment. No pun intended. And that happened recently in California with magazine limits, I believe. California has the same magazine limit, or had the same magazine limit ban there as they have here in Washington, and someone went to a federal judge in California, a Republican federal judge, and tried to get his help to sue the sue the bill that bans magazines over 10 round capacity, and it worked. And I'm pretty sure it is now legal in California to have magazines over 10 round capacity. So essentially, in the state of Ohio, if somebody tries to get an abortion and they are turned away on the account of that law, they can sue and point to that article as the precedent set to have that particular law in court taken down, shot down, and repealed. It won't just instantly Thanos snap them all, but there is now an extremely powerful tool available to start meticulously cutting down those horrible Republican laws blocking people's access to abortion rights. me take a sip. It's so dry out today. My mouth keeps drying out. The U.S. District Court of Southern Ohio issued a similar order last week in relation to a challenge in a 2015 state law that involves the written transfer agreements abortion clinics must get from nearby hospitals in case of an emergency. Abortion rights activists, meanwhile, have signaled they will challenge at least some of the 36 anti-abortion laws the General Assembly has passed in recent years, but have been circumspect about their specific plans. In the case of the fetal heartbeat law, there's already an open lawsuit filed by abortion providers challenging it that's before the Ohio Supreme Court. The court, where Republicans hold a 4-3 majority, heard oral arguments in September from state officials who were appealing a lower court's decision that kept the case on hold indefinitely. Republicans fucking love that, by the way. Just finding weird loopholes to keep any progress from being made in just the most shameless and obviously anti-democratic way possible. They don't care about it being obvious that they don't give a shit about democracy. They're publicly proud about being against democracy. State officials argue that the abortion providers who brought the case didn't have standing or legal eligibility to sue. If the court were to agree, it could dismiss the case entirely and put the law back into effect. In addition to the question of whether the clinics and doctors have standing, the state also is pushing the Ohio Supreme Court to force a faster resolution of the state's challenges to a Hamilton County judge's decision to put the law on hold. Technical legal questions aside, Yassis said Issue 1 would invalidate the heartbeat bill, per a legal analysis his office prepared for public consumption ahead of last week's vote. Abortion rights providers, meanwhile, have argued Ohio's constitution barred the heartbeat law even before Issue 1 passed, saying existing protections having to do with privacy and other rights in the state constitution extended to protecting the right to have an abortion. So this is very interesting because Ohio has been one of the states that the Republicans have been primarily targeting with their culture war or electoral and culture war fight against contraceptive and abortion rights. So this is a pretty big L for them and a pretty big W for not just the left, but for all Americans. I gotta say, I'm glad to see it. Of course, this doesn't really have the most direct bearing on contraception rights, but they are tied in hand. So if you want to help take part in a group that is fighting to keep Republicans out of power who desire to take away your right to access abortions, contraceptive, Plan B, even medical treatments that can be life-saving or life-improving because they're considered to be some form of birth control, then please consider checking out Progressive Victory. If you do !PV in the chat, Zanbot will post a link through which you can check out their website and volunteer. You don't even have to leave the house to volunteer with Progressive Victory. No matter how much of a shut-in internet neat you are, they will have something for you to do to fight against the Republicans and their very desperate goal of taking away your rights. So if you're as motivated to keep your rights as they are to take them away, consider checking out Progressive Victory. What'd you guys think of that segment? I feel like it came out pretty good. Great segment, good segment. I'm glad to see you guys think so. By the way, if you're watching the stream right now and you want to support me, you don't even have to donate, subscribe, or gift a sub, or really support me financially at all. You can simply hit the like button, and it really does help a lot. Just hitting that thumbs up over on YouTube forces YouTube to push my content into the recommended of more people, which makes my channel grow substantially, it makes my view count go up substantially, and it helps me a lot. We're trying to hit 100,000 subs by the end of the year, so yeah, it really does help the more engagement you guys send my way. And yes, when I hit 100,000 subs, I play Sonic. So liking the stream will get you closer to me playing Sonic for the first time in my life on stream. I've never played a Sonic game before. You guys have the power to change that. We've got 336 viewers and only 134 likes. That's pitiful, guys. Come on. I know you can do better than that. What's Sonic? Yeah, exactly. What's Sonic? I've literally never played a Sonic game. How would I know what Sonic is? Thank you for the likes, though. I really do appreciate them. Now we're at 135. 2 people liked the stream when I said that. Come on, though. There's hundreds of people in chat right now that are still not liking the stream. Come on. Come on. Every like counts. You guys are lazy today. I don't know what Sonic game I'll play yet. I have not decided. It's very likely I don't hit 100,000 subs by New Year's, and if I don't, then no Sonic when I hit 100,000 subs. So there's a chance I don't even end up playing Sonic, you know? I honestly don't know if the channel's growing fast enough at this rate to hit 100,000 subs in time. Subbots now. Do not subbot my channel. It will hurt my channel a lot. Subbotting your channel actually hurts it. Yeah, don't make alt accounts and sub to me with those. As much as it is nice to see sub count go up, that looks to YouTube like you've got a bunch of interested subs that don't watch your current content. And YouTube doesn't like that, and that will affect how much YouTube pushes your videos to your audience. Now the question is, do you want to play Sonic? I don't know. I've never played a Sonic game before. I don't know what to expect. I'm quite frankly quite skeptical. I'm quite skeptical. I really am. But we'll see. Maybe it'll end up being a banger. Okay. Y'all know what to do when I say action, right? 3, 2, 1. Action. Well, everybody, it is no secret whatsoever what my opinions on Hasan Piker, Hasanatsi, if you will, are. Now, I used to like Hasan. I wouldn't, well, like is maybe a strong word. I didn't like his content. Like, not in a I disliked it way, but it just wasn't my thing. I didn't find myself watching him all that often, because I always found his videos to be a little bit just kind of, they felt like they were just a frat bro, kind of palling around with this chat and joking about, you know, complex political topics that he rarely ever satisfyingly explained or, like, gave opinions on, or, like, there was no catharsis of him explaining a take in a way where you're like, yes, finally, someone's saying that, you know? I never got that feeling from Hasan's videos, and so I always just kind of felt like it was just something that was there, you know? If there was nothing else to watch, I'd throw it on, you know? No, you know, and that's nothing bad, right? That's not necessarily a bad thing. But I always thought, even if I don't like Hasan's content, like, it's not my favorite, I always thought at least he was, like, a valuable asset to the left and was probably doing a good thing by being as large as he is, as popular as he is, as mainstream as he is, as clouded up as he is, while also talking about mainstream lefty political topics and getting a lot of people into it. Even if I didn't agree with him on everything, because there was some stuff I thought he was a bit cringe on, that was something I could at least look past, because the positive outweighed the negative. That is until about 2 years ago now. I think it's been about 2 years now. God, time flies. Maybe a year and a half. When Hasan started posting some sussy shit. And I know it goes back further than that, but this is when it really started getting into my, into my radar. And that was Hasan's takes on Taiwan and the legitimacy of Taiwan, as, like, whether or not it should just be considered, like, a part of China, just a little nubbin of China, and China owns it and they are Chinese, is essentially what Hasan argues. Hasan is also very iffy when it comes to his takes on the Uyghur genocide. For those that don't know, China is currently doing just a genocide on the Uyghur Muslim population in their country. China subjects them to an extreme amount of surveillance. Many of them are arrested for no reason and taken to camps where they are forced into labor. They are concentration camps. And they are discriminated against heavily for their religion and for their ethnicity. It is really fucked up stuff. There has been, on-the-ground journalist photography of these camps and whatnot. It's a very well-known thing. A lot of tankies deny the existence of this genocide because they don't like China looking bad, right? Because they're shills for the CCP. And then, of course, what really sealed the deal for me with Hasan was his apologia of Russia, his repeated attacking of Ukraine, and his inability to apologize for it in a way that indicates it was a simple, reasonable human mistake and just, like, move on. He's not capable of doing what I would expect from somebody who's just made a reasonable you can expect humans to make mistakes. That's not how it seems. It doesn't seem like that's what's going on with Hasan. Hasan, time after time after time, repeats Russian talking points, Russian state media propaganda in regards to Russia and Ukraine. At one point, he outright ranted and screamed about how Russia's annexation of Crimea was justified. At one point, he ranted and screamed about how the eastern territories of Ukraine are Russian. Because, like, people there can speak Russian. Another Russian state talking point. He claimed that the bombing of the Kerch Bridge was a Ukrainian war crime, despite the fact that the entire, like, world community has agreed that Ukraine did everything in their power to ensure that absolutely no civilian casualties would be had in their bombing of a Russian military asset, which was that bridge which they were using to carry shit tons of armored vehicles and supplies and soldiers and troops. Hasan has time and time again, and there are countless other examples. I mean, I could just go down the list of how many times in the lead up to Ukraine getting invaded by Russia, Hasan shit-talked lefties for daring to say, holy shit, Russia might invade Ukraine. It's absurd how much he shit-talked lefties who dared to suggest that might happen. With that said, I think that gives you a pretty decent understanding of why I don't like Hasan, and I must say, my opinion on that was pretty unpopular on the left until recently. It seems like now, more than ever, more and more people on this side of the left are finally getting Hasan's dick out of their throat, recognizing he's an asshole, and not making excuses for him anymore, recognizing he doesn't reflect their politics, and he's not actually doing more good than bad. Now, someone that I debated years and years ago, maybe back in 2020, possibly, might have been back in 2019, I don't exactly remember, on Augie RFC and Bo Black's and Nicholas Diorio's live stream, was Willymacshow. I debated him on the topic of, like, radicalization and what have you, and a lot of good memes came out of it. I think the consensus is that I kind of won that debate, and Willymacshow maybe didn't do the best. However, I like the guy. Since then, his takes on politics have gotten far better. He has made countless videos at this point that I have significantly enjoyed that are tangential or directly related to the landscape of online politics, and I must say I am quite impressed with him. And me and him are chill as well. Like, we don't have any bad blood between us as far as I know, so me and him are chill. And he has recently been going on a spree of some of the best, most concise, well-evidenced, and entertaining critique takedown videos of Hasan that I have seen. Just 2 days ago, he released a new video that I unfortunately have not had the opportunity to watch on stream yet, or off-stream, called Hasan's Horrible Response and His Radicalized Audience. I believe this is in response to Hasan refusing to hear Willymackshow's critiques of him. Willymacshow does, from what I've heard, a really good job of going over all of the dishonest, awful shit Hasan's been doing, at least lately, in this video, and I'm really excited to see. Willymacshow has cringe takes on Keffals? Yes, he does. Yes, he does. He is kind of an enlightened centrist, but his takes on Hasan are really top tier. Also, Hasan has cringe takes on Keffals. You know that Keffals' name is banned in Hasan's chat, and that she's banned in Hasan's chat, Reddit, Discord, and every other part of Hasan's community. Vosh too. Yeah, like, Hasan does not like the non-tanky part of the left. If you are not a tanky, Hasan does not like you, unless you are willing to consume his content and move to his political positions. He will call you a genocidal American imperialist psycho and ban you from his chat. Anyway, with that said, let's go ahead and check out Willymakshow's new video, because I have not had the chance to watch it yet. We're not going to watch it all, of course, because more has happened since then, but God, do we have to catch up with... What about me putting a paused video into full screen tells YouTube that I want it to start playing right now? What tells YouTube that, I wonder? I wonder where they got that idea. Anyway, Hasan sucks. This video looks really good. I gotta catch up with all this stuff and don't want to stretch it out into multiple videos, so we gotta cram it all into one big video. So let's get into this.
It has been 1 week since we talked about Hasan's terrible political career, full of hypocrisy, misreporting stories, and shifting the goalpost when he's wrong, all while villainizing anyone who disagrees with him.
What a f***ing liar, dude. What a f***ing Weasley little liar, dude.
After criticizing Hasan for his React content, a lot of Hasan fans criticized me for my React content, shaming Hasan for stealing content while you're literally stealing Hasan's content. Interesting. It should be obvious, but me only...
Do you guys like my default... Wait, how do I make it do that again? Wait, how do I make it do that? How did it do that? What? Why can't I make it do it again? Oh, well. Hopefully you guys like my default Windows screensaver I still have after several years of having this computer.
Using the necessary parts of Hasan's content to make my point is not the same as him reacting to an entire video, barely paying attention, leaving partway through.
And Monday morning.
Twice. And then coming back completely lost on where he is or what's going on.
Wait, what did I accidentally go forward or backwards?
If you don't know, it probably means you weren't paying attention and what you're doing isn't fair use. You never...
Dude. Hasan still does the getting up and walking away while videos are playing thing. This comment mentions, never mention that he gets permission from creators to watch their videos. Dude, if you're gonna do a hit piece on someone, don't lie or admit the truth. No need to watch the rest. I see what kind of creator you are. Clips with your context. Unoriginal. Okay, guys. I'm about to have my most red-pilled Squad W take, okay? Cue up the Squad Ws, alright? Hasan has done an amazing job of building an army of the dumbest e-girls in the whole internet to defend him. I feel like so much of his branding is meant to be e-girl bait. I feel like, and listen guys, I'm going to tell you this as a YouTuber, having attractive e-girls on the internet defend you, not even have to be attractive, just having e-girls on the internet defending you makes you look good. Having women defend you as a guy, like defending your honor, makes you look good. And so heavily marketing your content towards a audience that is, mostly like e-girls, kind of in the same way that Just Pearly Things markets her content at like younger men, just sort of like the inverse is what Hasan does. I feel like that's kind of the effect he goes for. Let me give you guys an example, okay? I have an example I can give you all. So, a couple years ago, Hasan went on a trip to Germany, and he went to a brothel. He ended up having sex with at least one sex worker at said brothel. He then left Germany, came back to America, and a couple months or years later, I forget, said brothel was raided by the German police and found to be a ring where many women were being sex trafficked. Many of the women who were doing sex work at that brothel were being sex trafficked, and they were not there working that job consensually. A lot of people on the far right brought this up because that was, at the time, the only group of people who were really interested in talking about that and, bringing attention to it. But Hasan did respond. And do you guys know what Hasan's response was? Hasan's response was, nobody there was underage and nothing was unconsensual. And the reason he went there, he claims, was to, quote, support sex workers and to help destigmatize sex work. Mind you, he only talked about this after it became public that the brothel he visited, like, I don't even know if the brothel itself was public or that he went to said brothel was all that public, had become known to have been raided by the police and had been found to be doing sex trafficking, and he got shit for it and had to respond. That was when the whole destigmatizing sex work thing even became a relevant topic to the situation. So, yeah, like, I think that's a good example of how Hasan will try to take any situation and turn it into a marketable towards, like, internet e-girl type thing, you know? Like, he's very slippery and good at manipulating things to make himself look like a kind of victim. He's good at spinning stuff, yeah. Dude, I just looked it up. The brothel was raided for tax evasion. I'm pretty sure it was confirmed it was raided for tax evasion, and there was found to be women there that were not there, like, with their will. They were being trafficked.
Never mention that Hasan gets permission from creators to watch their vids. Dude, if you're gonna do a hit piece on someone, don't lie or omit the truth. It is true that Hasan says he only reacts to creators he has permission from.
Like, can you send a link? Bouth, link me.
Don't leave the video running when you get up
100%.
to go pee.
Yeah, you can't
That's
do
like
that.
pretty basic stuff.
You stop doing that?
I only do it with, I usually only do it with my videos that I know are from my friends. Like Noah Samson, Second Thought, things like that.
But he's bold-faced lying. He does it to everybody's videos, not just his friends. Lamino, whose video was reacted to by Hasan where he left twice, said that he's never given Hasan...
Okay, you got the link? Alright. Sorry, I haven't switched camera. But it's okay. Various news sources reported on Artemis, I guess this is the name of the brothel, in relation to an expected increase in prostitution in Germany during the 2006 FIFA World Cup. Norman Jacob, the lawyer of the owner, was quoted in one article as saying football and sex belong together. On the 30th June 2006, the New York Times reported that these expectations had apparently been too optimistic. In the early morning hours of 17th of August 2012, 4 guests refused to pay their bills at Artemis. One of them drew a gun and shot at the doorman, injuring 3 of them. In Germany? There's guns in Europe? What the fuck?
You see, gun control would actually solve other gun crime.
The group then fled by car. The gun was a modified alarm gun that shot plastic bullets. Ah, yes, of course. A homemade one. Look at that. Gun laws doing their job once again. A few weeks later, a Russian resident of Berlin was arrested as a suspect in the case. As part of a campaign to criminalize the purchase of sex, 5 topless members of the feminist activist organization Femin chained themselves to the entrance of Artemis on the 27th of November 2013. Seems like it was a little bit controversial. On the 14th of April 2016, Artemis was raided by 900 police and customs officers. How big is the building? Was it like... because when I imagine like a brothel, I imagine like a building the size of a house. Maybe a 2-story house at most. Was this like a fucking mansion? Was this a compound? Investigating human trafficking and tax evasion. The police had obtained information that members of the Hells Angels forced some women to work in Artemis. One of these women had talked to the police about her abusive pimp, a former professional football goalie who would be convicted of trafficking, coercion, and extortion and sentenced to 7 years in prison in October 2017. The tax evasion charges against Artemis were based on the allegation that the prostitutes working there were fraudulently classified as independent contractors rather than as employees. The brothel reopened the next day, but the 2 managers, Hakim and Kenan Simsek, and 4 madams remained in custody. In late July 2016, the Kammergericht ordered their release because of insufficient evidence. Defense lawyers announced plans to sue the state of Berlin for damages, arguing that authorities had approved the Artemis business practices for years. Okay, hold on. Balth, you kind of whitewashed it a little bit here. Because by the looks of things, a woman was sex trafficked there, and there was a sentencing. A member of the Hells Angels and the woman who was their victim had alleged that he was her abusive pimp, as well as had also accused a former football goalie, and they were then convicted of sex trafficking, coercion, and extortion. So, yeah, sex trafficking did happen there, and the person who did it was convicted, but it wasn't the brothel itself. It was that there was a woman there who was being forced to work there by her pimp. It is, of course, not the point. My overall point when mentioning this wasn't that Hasan was, like, doing sex trafficking. Obviously, that's not the point. My point is that when he gets shit about that, Hasan tries to turn it into some, no, I was just trying to support sex workers. I was just trying to destigmatize sex work, guys. And it seems really disingenuous to me. I don't think Hasan's any type of, like, sex pest or anything. Oh, why? Oh. Why video muted? Oh, wrong video, that's why. Heh. This is what you get for smoking weed on stream.
To go pee.
Yeah, you can't
That's
do
like
that.
pretty basic stuff.
You stop doing that?
Which I will continue to do.
I usually only do it with my videos that I know are from my friends. Like Noah Samson, Second Thought, things like that.
But he's bold-faced lying. He does it to everybody's videos, not just his friends. Let me know whose video was reacted to by Hasan where he left.
I like how the people he mentions he's friends with are like people who are like awful. I've literally told you guys Hasan sucks for a long time, and you can tell just based on the people who he associates with and the people who he refuses to platform or allow to be mentioned in his chat. Interesting that he watches every Noah Samson video on stream, but has Keffels and Vosh banned from his chat. I wonder where his politics lie. I wonder where his leanings are in the state of internet politics.
Twice, said that he's never given Hasan permission.
I don't mind people reacting to my videos, but I do mind when they play the entirety of my video. A face cam in the corner or the occasional interruption does nothing to address that issue. My video is still being played from beginning to end in someone else's stream or video. You know,
I agree with this. I think that sometimes, if the goal of the video is a thorough takedown, which is what most of my reactions are, like I bring up a chud video and my goal is to literally meticulously pick apart every single argument they make, every sentence I'm pausing to debunk what they're saying. And if I skip ahead, which I sometimes do because I get bored of the videos, I am admittedly allowing tons of bad arguments to slide under the radar. I would argue in the case, like, just the fact that I'm responding and debunking people's points makes it pretty transformative. But particularly for React videos like this, like if I'm watching, say, a Pillar of Garbage video, or I'm watching a Willymacshow video like I am now, or really any YouTuber who I, like, enjoy, like Walter Masterson, like any YouTuber that I'm reacting to and I'm, like, enjoying their content on stream and not debunking, I'm not going to watch their whole video on stream generally. I usually like to have it be like my fans maybe haven't seen this YouTuber before. They see me react to and respond to part of the video. I cut it off, and they don't get to see the resolution and like say last 2/3 of the video. And now they have to go to the channel through the link I've now pinned in the description and go watch it on the original channel. Go maybe even subscribe and drop a like. You know, I think that's the best way to do this kind of thing. But Hasan is, you know, uncaring. Your chair is transforming the content? Yeah. You know, Hasan's chair is very transformative. Welcome, Cherry.
They could do the bare minimum and ask for permission, something that none of the major reaction channels have ever done when they've streamed or re-uploaded my videos.
So don't call me a liar when he's the one lying to you. If you're a Hasan fan, he does this to you constantly. I don't know why anybody would want to get their news through this guy. Wouldn't you want somebody who's consistent, reliable, and stylish? Like Ridge. I think we all know that one person that's not easy to buy gifts for. Maybe they've been carrying around that fat, bulky wallet for over 10 years. Well, Ridge might be the perfect gift. Ridge simplifies the wallet game without sacrificing form or style. Coming in over 30 different
I've had a Ridge wallet before, but I lost it. I'm not even joking. I had a Ridge wallet, and I fucking lost it. But I didn't have anything in it. It was empty. I don't know where I lost it. It didn't have any cards or any, like, money or anything in there. I had it empty, but I fucking lost it. They're good. Aren't they like $80? Yeah, I'm not happy about losing it, that's for sure. Yeah, they're pretty expensive. They're nice, though. My only advice if you get a Ridge wallet is don't get too many cards. And like there is a billfold on the side, like not a billfold, a clip for you to fold bills, which is kind of like a billfold. But you're not really going to be able to carry much cash with it. It's very much a modern wallet for like cashless society. And the more cards you have in there, the more of a pain in the ass it is to use. Just get a real wallet. You can get knockoff Ridge wallets, but, you know, I'm not going to shout out any knockoff brands while reacting to the sponsorship.
Colors and designs, even having their own take on that classic leather wallet, my favorite, giving you the ability to personalize it with images, monograms, or text, all while being made from RFID block materials to protect you from digital pickpockets. But Ridge isn't just upgrading your wallet storage, they're upgrading your key storage as well. The Ridge key case organizes up to 6 keys in a compact, jingleless way, from wallets and keys to backpacks.
I actually need that, dude. I actually need that. I fumble around with my keys way too much getting into my house. Get a key. No, like, dude, key rings are cool, but they're also confusing. That thing is like you've got like they don't jingle around or move around. You've got like you pull them out on a little tab and they're like rigidly locked in. That's dope.
And phone cases. Ridge has the perfect gift for this holiday season. All with a 99-day risk-free trial, so you can give the perfect gift worry-free. And if they somehow don't love it, you can get a full refund. Shop the holiday sale by going to ridge.com/Willymacshow and get the 30% off through December 20th. Use my link and you get a free chance to win a Ridge bundle worth over $4,000. Thank you, Ridge, for sponsoring this video.
It's just a
really
wallet.
Frustrating that, like, this is a fundamental thing I believe in and I advocate for and I practice what I preach, and yet motherfuckers still always say that I'm actually fake.
A lot of Hasan fans are mad at me because I called Hasan a fake socialist, a hypocrite. Oh, socialism man has money. Socialism man bad. You are not allowed to critique capitalism if you have money, lol. No iPhone equals socialist? Please read just a crumb, please, I beg you. I never called Hasan a hypocrite because he's rich. I called Hasan a hypocrite because he advocates that companies should profit share with their employees while he pays his employees absolutely nothing.
As a socialist, right? Does that carry over to your Twitch?
To who? To who? To what?
To editors, to moderators?
Yes.
Hasan has had an insane amount of drama involving not paying his editors for a YouTuber/streamer who has made as much money, who makes as much money as him. I have gone out of pocket on, like, grocery money before to pay my editor. Okay? Back when things were rough, channel was smaller, income was tighter, we had to make things work, okay? Like, me and my editor, we sat down and we budgeted, okay? Like, we figured things the fuck out. And that's how things had to work, right? And that's how, you know, you do things if you care about your editor at all. If you care about the people who allow you to exist on the fucking platform and have the level of success that you become accustomed to. Hasan has had an insane amount of drama involving not paying his editor. I believe one of the Hasan not paying his editor's dramas involved him paying one of his editors in nothing but a PC. Like, I think it was like 3 months of work. Sorry, I had to burp. This is old drama, so I don't have all the details, like, committed right now. But I believe it was like 3 months of work, and Hasan paid his editor in nothing but a PC. And then his defense was he paid his editor in the means of production. He paid his editor by giving his editor the means of production, is what he claimed. You can't eat a PC. Like, yeah, that's just one of the Hasan not paying his editors slip-ups he's had.
So you're paying moderators or head of moderation?
No, not editors and not moderators. I don't want moderators to come on board exclusively because they want to, you know, use it as a job opportunity.
That's objectively hypocritical. And let's face it, it's just funny to watch Hasan act like he's a blue-collar worker on stream, acting like he's shocked when he hears how expensive people's homes are.
Glass doors, which is absolutely horrible for audio quality.
Dude, this is like unimaginable wealth, dude. How the fuck do people make this much money? $2.9 million near Las Vegas? Dude, oh my fucking lord, dude. You can buy a castle in Las Vegas.
Bro, he bought a $3 million house for himself the next month. What is
Who remembers back during this Hasan house drama when I said, well, I do think criticizing Hasan for having a mansion is pretty weak. What I don't like about it is that Hasan does entire videos where he shits on people for having big houses, big mansions, spending lots of money, having expensive stuff. But then he does the exact same thing. His house isn't a mansion, though. Yes, it fucking is. Yes, it goddamn is. A $3 million house, whether you like it or not, whether it's in fucking New York City or goddamn LA, it is a mansion. You are desperate to defend him if you're going to say a $3 million home is not a mansion anywhere in America. That is delusional. Have you seen Hasan's mansion? Hasan's mansion. Dude, I'm sorry. It's not the biggest I've ever seen or anything, but if you're, like, this is $3 million, and you can kind of get a good idea of the square footage based on the fact it's 2 stories, has a full fucking backyard, pool, deck, everything. You can see, like, that might be a TV or the front window. It's hard to tell. 2 floors. There seems to be more that goes off here. This is a fucking mansion, okay? This qualifies as a mansion. This is in the Hollywood Hills. It is in L fucking A. Over $3 million. It is a mansion. You do not need to get a place that is that nice. Which is why it is hypocritical for him to give people shit about their, over-the-top architecture and living space when that's where he lives. When most of his audience, now let's be clear, most of his audience live in studio apartments or with their parents.
is he talking about? Not a Hasan fan, but what a misinformed and ignorant take. The dude is literally the most consistent political streamer in existence. At least if you're going to lie on someone, make it believable. It's time to stop! How do you convince someone of something when they're so stuck in their worldview, they ignore all your receipts? It's impossible. The old adage must be true. You can't argue with stupid.
People need to be told to shut the fuck up. People need to be told that they are wrong all the time.
Hasan hates any and all journalism that goes against his worldview. 3 years ago, a video went viral of a man holding a BLM sign in what was apparently the most racist town in America. The video is 2 minutes long and features people threatening to kill him, calling him the N-word, and Hasan loves it.
This is braver than the troops, okay? I'll just say this right now. What he's doing is, sometimes we use that as a joke. They say like, oh, this man's braver than the troops. But like, what he's doing is literally just straight up putting his life on the line without any sort of protection or Kevlar or anything. How many of these people are off-duty cops? Okay, probably 0 of them because none of them tackled him and beat the shit out of him while the camera was on.
Gideon saw this video last year and decided to do some citizen journalism to see if this video was an accurate portrayal of the town's citizens. He went there and discovered that the town had a bad rap.
I'm not gonna lie, when I did come here and stuff like that, you know, hearing that it's the most racist town in America, I was just, you know, going on expecting it, like, you know, the racism and stuff like that, making a video, you know, like, oh man, this is what happened to me. But as I got here, I realized, I said, I cannot put that connotation on this town because I am not experiencing that, you know?
Hasan didn't like Gideon's findings, so he frames him off rip as a white apologist.
I thought to myself, not only as a content creator, but also as a black man, I have to go to this town and find out firsthand.
This is in the intro of the video.
All right, so
please tell me he's not going to whitewash this shit, right? Please. So one thing that we need to always establish is that, like, just because a fucking town is racist, one, doesn't mean that they're going to be, like, literally running around and doing hate crimes to every black person they see. I don't know why Americans have such a twisted and broken understanding of what racism is, which is weird.
He's moving the goalposts. The original video that Gideon is investigating showed people being openly and aggressively racist for 2 minutes straight. What he's saying has nothing to do with anything. When Hasan finishes the video, he calls everyone who enjoyed it racist.
All the comments are eating it up. Yeah, bro, if you're a racist little white zoomer and you're watching Gideon, of course you're gonna love it when your favorite black comedian is, you know, feeding into your worldview that, like, you know, being racist in an Xbox lobby is just memes.
People in his chat who criticized Hasan's takeaway, he would then also call racist while being racist.
Wow, looking for racism when someone actively trying to bridge a gap? What gap, dude? What gap? You can't bridge a gap with a clan, you dingus. God damn, that's the most Caucasian.
Also, that was actually, yeah, that is a pretty bad argument from Hasan, because sundown towns do exist. Yeah. Like, if you live in the South, like, in broad daylight, you're not very likely to get, like, lynched or assaulted if you're black. But if you're, like, going for a jog in the middle of the night in certain towns, then there's a chance you might get accidentally, quote-unquote, run over. Like, that's probably not uncommon in those types of towns. As a black man, fuck this dude for doing this shit, Gideon, or however you spell it. This is ridiculous. I don't think the point of Gideon's video, like Hasan is saying, was to, like, whitewash the town. The goal is to be like, all right, let's go there and see how bad it is. Like, if you go to the, like, most racist town in America and you're black and you're just kind of around, what would you expect, you know? People wonder that kind of thing. YouTubers deliver on questions like that. Yeah. Violence against protesters is going to be a major problem, most likely, over the next few years, if it can even happen in Panama. What are you responding to? What are you responding to? What did I say that you're responding to? Okay.
Take I've ever heard in my entire goddamn life. What the f do you mean, bridge a gap?
If your go-to reaction when you're mad is to go after somebody's skin color, that says a lot about you. He's also saying that the town is home to the Klan, which is not true. That's a different town, which Gideon explains in his video.
They said that this place was like the most racist town in America, but like what have you seen here that you would like deem maybe racist?
Out in Zeke, which is probably like a 20-minute drive, the leader of the Ku Klux Klan or whatever lives out there.
So this isn't the racist town, Zink.
Oh wow, Hasan misrepresenting the facts of the situation. It's like he's made a career out of it. Hasan is a self-described on-the-ground journalist who only reports from his bedroom.
Me going live and giving you 10 hours of on-the-ground, 10 hours of reporting from the ground, at a critical moment, at a critical time.
And then he spends his time discrediting actual on-the-ground.
This is not on-the-ground journalism. That's on-the-ground journalism is when you're on the ground where they are. Dylan Burns is doing on-the-ground journalism. Dylan Burns is the one doing actual on-the-ground journalism. Now, this is where I'm going to put an end to the Willymacshow video. I'm going to have a link down below for you guys to go check it out if you want to see the rest, and I highly recommend you do. Go drop a like. Go send some support. All that good stuff. Someone else who made a very good video recently on Hasan, someone that I know you guys are probably a little bit more, positive on, is Dylan Burns. You see, one of Hasan's biggest mistakes, in my opinion, has been his essentially just normalization of Hasan. Or not of Hasan's normalization of Hasan. Hasan's normalization of Russia and like making excuses for their invasion of Ukraine. So if I go to Dylan. So Dylan Burns called him out for this. And it was pretty fucking based. Let me see if I can find the highlight reel that Dylan uploaded alongside Hasan's response to finding out Dylan had made that video. Where is it? Okay, I might find it faster if I just check my retweets, honestly. Here it is. Oh, wait, nope, that's not it. Not yet. I'm scrolling, guys. Oh boy, am I scrolling. This feels like I've been scrolling too long. Oh, I found it. Okay. Okay. So this is a clip from Hasan, or not Hasan, from Dylan's newer video in which he, Dylan's in Ukraine right now, and he has befriended quite a few Ukrainians. And so he got some of them together, and, he decided that it would be best to give them a voice because Hasan doesn't speak to Ukrainians on his show. He'll speak to Russians, he'll speak to Americans, and people who agree with him and will back up his America bad positions and his position that America shouldn't offer support to Ukraine. But he won't have actual Ukrainians on his show. He won't have Ukrainian voices platformed on his show. He refuses to. Which is why Dylan thought it would be a good idea to just platform some Ukrainians and have them talk about what they're going through, respond to what Hasan has said about the invasion of their country, and then maybe, hopefully, Hasan might watch the video on stream and actually hear what Ukrainians have to say about it. Let's go ahead and watch the clip show that Dylan uploaded of his video.
NATO is 1000% an aggressor outside fucking force, okay? Russia is not. Russia annexing its own territory full of its own fucking people is not the same as NATO being like, we're gonna turn your country into a fucking base and put literal fucking military bases and rockets into your country.
Saying that Russia is grabbing their territories is a total bullshit. They are grabbing the territories of what, Soviet Union, the empire that collapsed? People there identified themselves as Ukrainians, especially my generation.
Hasan here basically called me and Rick specifically literally Russians. He called us Russians just because we are from the Russified areas that were
But that's Russian propaganda, right?
Yes, exactly, thank you, that's where I'm going. The repeating of Russian narrative. They say those people are Russians. They speak Russian, that means they're Russian. They're part of the Russian world. This is the imperialism, colonialism that this guy supposedly hates.
So, you would hope that Hasan would hear that Dylan Burns, a lefty, who is doing journalism on the ground in a country that is being invaded by a much more powerful imperialistic nation, who had, actual victims of that invasion on his show, on video, to talk about and respond to what Hasan has said, to correct the record, you would think maybe Hasan would at least hear it out. Maybe at least watch the video. Hasan responded, and Dylan posted the clip on Twitter. This is how Hasan responds to all criticism, especially the criticism that just is him saying things that are blatantly wrong and bad, and people debunking them with inarguable evidence. When Hasan absolutely cannot salvage the narrative, he will just refuse to show it to his stream and lie about it. Get ready to see it in action.
For those of you who said, chat, has he responded to Dylan Burns' post, by the way, before getting clapped? If you think that I would entertain such a psychotic thing ever in my life, I don't know what to tell you. There is nothing more perverted and psychopathic than literally putting Ukrainian people in Ukraine that are being fucking bombed, okay, by an invading force that is unjustifiably occupying their country, making Ukrainians sit down and fucking watch my clips out of fucking context in a way that you have framed it to have them go, oh, wow, how fucked up, fuck this guy. It is literally the most unimaginably insane thing I've ever seen in my entire life. It completely betrays how much you care about the conflict that you are covering on the ground. It's nasty as fuck. It's such a weird psychopathic thing to do, especially considering that I have time and time again, over and over again, repeated my position, okay, that it is completely unjustifiable to invade Ukraine. Russia is cruel for doing such an act.
The clips of him saying otherwise say otherwise.
And that Ukrainians, of course, have a just cause for emancipation. Not only that, but I've also raised money for Ukrainian refugees. This community has raised $300,000.
He only does charity streams to cover his ass.
For Ukrainian refugees. It is so insane to do a Jubilee video on this, okay? I don't know what to say. It basically betrays the position that you have. Like, oh, I genuinely care about this. That's why I went out there, not because I'm like a fucking war tourist pervert, but I went out there because I care about these people. So what am I?
Called Dylan a war tourist pervert. You heard that, right?
Oh, I genuinely care about this. That's why I went out there, not because I'm like a fucking war tourist pervert, but I went out there because I care about these people. So what am I doing? I'm like fucking using this as an opportunity to be like, yeah, look how bad this guy is. Like, what the fuck? For those of you who said...
Yes, Dylan did get nearly bombed by Russia. Like, actually did get bombed by Russia. Nearly directly hit. Twice. Not once, guys. Twice. You could almost stretch it to 3 times, arguably, if you count, like, a shell going off, like, a block away from him as nearly getting bombed, too. Because there's video of him live streaming while walking down the street, and then there's a fucking boom, and he and the person he's with get into some cover, and then he turns the camera, and, like, you can see over the buildings and trees, like, a block away, there's just, like, a wafting of smoke from a shell going off, like, a block away. Yeah. Hasan is a disgusting person. A genuinely disgusting person. I've thought so little of him for so long, but it's nice to see that more and more people are finally starting to realize what a monster he is. Not only that, though, it's interesting to see how much more aware of the Hasan dick riding people are getting, and how desperate people are to clout chase off of Hasan. There is an entire streamer industrial complex based on streaming around Hasan on Twitch. Like, people call me a Vosh orbiter, right? People accuse me of, like, trying to orbit around Vosh's community. But outside of us having similar political ideologies and being IRL friends, I don't really do that. Like, I don't really cover what he's talking about. I don't really, like, talk about what he's doing unless it's so relevant to what I'm doing that it would be dumb not to talk about it. Like, I don't really do that much. And people say the same thing about Demon Mama, and she doesn't really do that. People say it about Keffels, and I'd say she is maybe the most applicable example of someone you could call a Vosh orbiter, but even she is mostly doing shit that's unrelated. There is a pretty substantial community of streamers on Twitch that are legitimate Hasan orbiters, and that they spend all day watching Hasan's VODs on their streams. There are streamers who have sizable audiences, and a decent amount of their content is reacting to Hasan's VODs. Like, that is a level of orbit that is actually quite impressive. Now, Willymacshow, as we've established before, I like him on some things. I don't like some of his opinions on others, right? However, I think we can all agree he is not the best debater in the world. Not trying to shit talk. Debating is an acquired skill. It literally just takes practice, and practicing debating is like hard, because when you practice at something, you're going to lose a fair amount. You're going to fail a fair amount when you're practicing at something. And when you're practicing debates and you're like a streamer, that's all public. So you've got to publicly trial and error at like debating for years, you know, at least in my case, for years, until you actually start to reach a point where you're like, at least to your own self, you feel like you're good at debating. So I'm not shit-talking Willymacshow, but I think it's safe to say most people don't think highly of Willymakshow's debating skills, which is why it's obvious that Willymacshow is the only fucking person who has criticized him that Hasan is willing to bring on stream. The only person who's criticized him on this stuff that Hasan has been willing to bring on stream. And this happened 2 days ago. I haven't even seen this yet. And it is an hour long, so we're definitely not watching all of this. But unfortunately, the only video of the debate between Willymacshow and Hasan I could find was from a Hasan fan channel. It's titled, Hasan Debates Willymacshow on His Lies. So, you know, we're getting a real balanced perspective. Anyway, let's hop right into it. Let's see what this debate is all about. I've heard that Willymacshow did all right, but could have done better. So we'll see where I can criticize, and we'll see where I can call out direct lies from Hasan.
Oh, hey,
hold on. Let's speed up the video a little bit, because, you know, not closed captioning. I swear to God, they moved the position of the closed captioning and subtitles buttons on that menu. I keep hitting the subtitles button instead of the, the speed button. I keep hitting the closed captioning button when I need to hit the speed button. I swear they switched them around in the menus in some new recent YouTube update.
What's up, Hasan?
Not much. So I am not very familiar with what you do, but I believe you've done a couple videos about how dog shit I am, I think, right? You want to turn on your camera, by the way?
I mean, I'm recording. I don't think I can at the same time.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
well,
you can't.
That's unfortunate, but all right.
OBS and Discord take exclusive control of your camera. So you have to have a fuck ton of money like Hasan to afford 2 cameras, one set up and plugged in for use on Discord, and one plugged in and set up for use on OBS, in order to be able to like do a Discord call and have your face appear on Discord and be on stream with your face appearing on stream. It's one of the biggest pains in the ass of all like streaming tech issues. I don't know how we haven't surpassed this technological issue of not being able to split your video footage to 2 programs at once, but one day we'll achieve that.
So you...
Yeah, but we shouldn't need to use a virtual cam to do that. There are workarounds, of course, you're right, but you shouldn't have to deal with that bullshit.
Did you watch the videos?
No, of course not. I have a policy of not really watching videos such as that one, specifically because it will frustrate me, and then I will have to respond to it.
You wanted to debate about a video you didn't even watch?
Why? Yeah, of course. You made the video. I'm not like debating a random person about a video I didn't watch. You made the fucking video. So let's hear.
I know, but that kind of like
that
kind of links up to like my big criticism with you, is that you don't actually put in the bare minimum effort to research anything before you jump to conclusions. That's why you're tweeting when you're like, hey, I want to debate Willie.
Do you really consider me watching a fucking dumbass YouTube video from a drama farming channel to be doing research? I don't need to do research
this is what you're
on a video.
About. You're going into a topic you don't know anything about.
Brother, just give me what you want to say. Give me what you want to say. The video's about me, isn't it?
Yeah,
so
sure.
talk to me about what the fucking points of the video are, and let's discuss it. The fuck do you mean?
My main criticism.
How are people not turned off by this? Like, he comes off as like a petulant child in debates. This isn't like... I don't know. I guess there's a reason why he like talks down on people that do debates and only does them in cases like this. He's not very good at it, and he always comes off as whiny. He doesn't come off as assertive or confident or anything. He comes off as defensive and whiny. Man, Hasan is making this boring. Hasan is boring. I don't find him that entertaining. I get why people do. I don't agree with it, but I get why people do. But it's just not my thing. He kind of does put me to sleep a little.
To research a video about myself, like, oh man, I can't believe I have to watch.
No doubt you didn't
I have to watch a fucking dumbass talk shit for 25 minutes and jerk off like all the fucking talking points that I've heard about myself over and over again. Incredibly stupid. Give me the fucking takes and we'll talk about it. Okay. Go on.
Yeah. My take is that you have a pattern of behavior where breaking news happens, you jump to wild conclusions, talking way too confidently.
Okay, give me an example.
Who disagrees with
example.
you.
Give me an example.
All right,
Are you gonna talk?
So this is something that a lot of people on the left have a problem with, and I think it's an issue. Have you guys noticed that my coverage of Israel and Palestine has been, like, I've covered it, I've done a few topics on it, but I haven't been covering it as much as some other people. Like, I'm not doing live coverage, I'm not doing breaking news, most certainly, and so on. While that is a bit of a sacrifice of viewership and engagement, it's definitely the most responsible thing to do. I have found that more often than not, waiting it out just a couple days before talking about it, well, yes, you'll probably get a bit less viewership. And, you know, viewership matters when you're a content creator. It can make or break your career. I find that you are risking a lot by covering breaking news and speculating in the way Hasan does. Hasan was recently speculating on, like, ballistics. Like, he was trying to listen to the sounds of missiles in videos and determine what type of missile they were based off of the sound and just butchering everything. Like, very embarrassing stuff like that. Another big story that I know a lot of people on the left have been guilty of is recently there was a hospital in Gaza. Now, I'm not saying the IDF isn't bombing hospitals in Gaza. They are. But there was a particular story that was getting a lot of attention. And I still see lefties refusing to just let it go and move on and focus on actual examples of the IDF bombing hospitals and children and stuff. There was a hospital in Gaza that got bombed. Well, by the hospital got bombed, which is what you'll hear from a lot of lefties. It's actually a lie. What actually got bombed was the parking lot. That sounds like it's a bit nitpicky, but I think it's important to be specific with your language. Because when people hear hospital bombed, they imagine bomb directly hit hospital, big chunk of the building taken out at least. Not bomb hit hospital, hardly any damage to the building, right? And of course, the claim was from people like Hasan and people who were doing live coverage of the war, making assumptions before having any actual data or information or intelligence. They claimed that it was a missile sent by the IDF. Hasan doubled and tripled down on this, as did much of lefty Twitter. About 24 hours later, Israel released footage of the bombing of the hospital where they were able to show with infrared, like fucking night vision, goddamn, like normal vision, like multiple different types of camera with drone footage, the bomb being launched from Gaza and hitting the same hospital parking lot. They were, like, the IDF was able to definitively prove with video evidence the bomb came from Gaza. It was probably from Hamas, but at the very least they were able to prove it did not come from Israel. And Hasan and all the lefties who used this particular hospital bombing as an example of the IDF's war crimes and Israel's war crimes ended up looking quite the fool. Because, well, Israel is in the wrong in all this. If you end up tying your credibility to a story like that, to speculation like that, and getting proven wrong, you're not only doing yourself a disservice, you're doing a disservice to the entire movement and side of this issue trying to advocate for the rights to live of Palestinians. When you do that shit, when you make this side of the issue look bad, you are hurting the ability for the sentiment, the anti-Israel sentiment in this country to grow, and for pressure on our politicians to grow, to not support Israel, like, as hard as they do now at least. To maybe even pressure the U.S. into calling for a ceasefire. I do not like doing like the breaking news coverage of this stuff, because you're prone to make at least a couple of the mistakes Hasan has made. But with Hasan, it's deliberate, it is constant, repeated, and he refuses to apologize.
There was reports that Ukraine was going to be invaded by Russia. You confidently said, no, it wasn't, despite all the reports. Then Russia invades. And then instead of apologizing and correcting the story, you then
I didn't apologize and correct the story?
You justify the invasion.
Wait,
right?
I didn't apologize and correct the story?
Let me finish my...
Wait, hold on.
No, this is the pattern of behavior.
Because you said you... Wait, hold on. You're the one who doesn't do his research, because I did apologize and I did correct the record.
You
just didn't fucking see it.
You kind of walked it back too.
Wait, no. I very clearly apologized for it. You didn't see that because all you do is look at fucking clips.
It's in the video. It's in one of my videos.
So why did you just now bring it up as though I've never apologized?
Oh, this is so like Hasan. And then the worst part is when people call you out.
Why did you just bring that up as I never apologized?
It's all out of context.
Why did you just say I never apologized for it when I did?
Right? You claim that's all out of context.
Why did you say I never apologized? Why did you just say
because
I never apologized?
You then make more outrageous claims.
I'm sorry. Why did you say I never apologized if I did, and you just repeated? You just repeated after I said no, I did apologize.
See how slippery Hasan is. If you slip up in your wording, he will like aim at that. What Willymacshow meant to say was you didn't give a genuine apology, as in you may have apologized, but you did it just to get heat off your ass, and then immediately went back to the exact same behavior the same day, and continue to do it time and time and time and time again. What Willymacshow meant to say is you didn't give a real apology. But technically, Hasan did say, I'm sorry, and he did technically give a retraction to cover his ass after the fact. So he can laser in on that wording and attack him for it. Yeah, the IDF has done a lot of atrocities, and being wrong about this makes the actual atrocities seem unreliable, giving a W to anyone wanting to muddy the waters and defend Israel and hinder people being convinced about what's going on, like the Al Jazeera misreporting 500 people were killed in the same strike. Yeah, or in that same strike, yeah. Yep, it really, really hurts the credibility of the right side of this issue, and we really need to be careful not to jump the gun. This is a very sensitive issue.
Guys, you moved the goalpost. You moved the goalpost, and you tried to fucking act like I was just backtracking.
I didn't move the goalpost, dude. This is exactly my criticism.
You did. Stop saying this is exactly my criticism. Okay, but
if
your criticism is fucking stupid.
Your apology is in there.
Okay,
you just didn't watch it, so you're just making shit up right now. That's what you're doing.
I'm going off of what you're saying.
Because you didn't watch the video because you don't research anything, which is the whole
criticism. Why would I watch a fucking stupid video that you made when I'm talking to you because the video is about me? You said with your words that I didn't actually apologize.
You're saying
you said with your words
that I did. Is this what you're going to talk over me when I'm giving you the answer?
No.
I'm giving you a very straightforward answer. I did do that.
Okay.
I did cover your apology.
So you said I did apologize, but it wasn't good enough for you.
Is that what you're saying? And I showed you apologizing for making your completely, like, fairly baseless claims, jumping to conclusions, and then you followed that up by making more baseless claims, jumping to conclusions.
Okay, go on. What are the baseless claims that I made that I jumped to conclusions on, even though you originally said I said that Russia would never invade?
Let me think. When Russia was mobilizing troops, blood bags, armored units and everything to the border of Russia and Ukraine, and it was very obvious, and all of the world intelligence and U.S. intelligence were saying that an imminent invasion was quite obvious, and Russia was responding, no, these are just regularly scheduled trainings. Hasan repeated, nah, these are just regularly scheduled trainings, and then he started gloating every day that Russia hadn't invaded Ukraine yet. Like he was gloating about it. Zan, you need to react to the new PJW video. He JQ's hard in the first 10 seconds. I can't do PJW today. I can't. I'm hungry and I'm tired. All right. I don't have it in me to do PJW today. I need a night's rest and a whole day's worth of mental prep to listen to that annoying little British bitch's voice. Yeah, probably tomorrow. Hasan is just outright malicious. He knows exactly what he is doing, and yet his zombie hive mind of an audience follows him on everything he says, not too unlike conservative content creators / audiences, TBH. Yeah, no, completely. Let me actually bring up examples of him doing exactly this. This is from after... This is from after Hasan, the invasion happened, when Hasan had to walk back. This is what Hasan means when he says he apologized for attacking people who said that Russia would invade Ukraine. This is what he means when he says he apologized and he walked it back.
But, like, you feeling bad about the Crimean annexation does not change the reality of the Crimean annexation being a completely justifiable fucking act by the Russian government, okay? So that's it. That's fine. And Hitler invaded countries based on Germanic ties at first.
Hey, notice how just a second ago Hasan said he never said anything of the sort like this? How he said the exact opposite earlier in the video? Did you guys notice how he said the exact opposite of what he said here? Because his position switches as he gets pushback because he only cares about keeping up a brand and, like, harvesting clout?
But, like, you... feeling bad about the Crimean annexation does not change the reality of the Crimean annexation being a completely justifiable fucking act by the Russian government, okay? So that's it. That's fine. And Hitler invaded countries based on Germanic ties at first? Yeah, dude. Talk to me when he's fucking throwing Ukrainians in a fucking... What are you talking about? Talk to me when he's throwing Ukrainians at a concentration camp, okay? Hitler wasn't fucking bad because he decided to invade Austria. He was bad because he was fucking killing Jews, okay? That was the problem. He wasn't like, oh yeah, we're gonna fucking annex territory with like Germanic people in it. That wasn't the main problem with Hitler, I think. That was like maybe 8th down the line.
Not only that, though, it gets funnier, too. If I go to images, I should be able to find... this. Let me see. Let me see if I can find it. It's a screenshot of one of his videos where he's like gloating about how right he is that Russia's not going to invade Ukraine. Let's see. Gah, where is it? Every time I have to find this, it's always difficult, but I always do in the end. Does anybody have a link to a screenshot of when he was titling his streams, Russia still hasn't invaded Ukraine, day insert number? And then Russia invaded Ukraine on day 12? Because the clip we just watched happened after all of that. After all of the, like, countdown of days of him gloating about Russia not having invaded Ukraine yet. Does anyone have a link? Anyone help me out? I've been scrolling for a hot minute. So, I'm guessing it's just not going to come up. I guess I just searched. I didn't add enough keywords. Oh, well. I have a screenshot of that. Oh, hell yeah, Ryoma. There we go. Yeah. Here we go. Let me get rid of chat for a second so you guys can see everything here. Where's my chat? There it is. Cool, cool. So here, he put out a video titled, I Was Right About War in Ukraine. And then this was his another one of his streams. These were his thumbnails, by the way. Whenever he was doing coverage of like in the lead up to when Russia would invade Ukraine, this was his thumbnail. A picture of the Ukraine flag, a tank, and him smiling. And he titled his videos, Russia still is yet to invade Ukraine, day 11. Are we going to war? No. Russia is starting pulling back. True, the Western media has been fear-mongering and banging the war drums, is what that goes on to say. If anyone has the full screenshot where you can see the description, he literally goes on with a full description with that's nothing but Russian propaganda. Update. Russia has invaded Donbass. Check description for statement. Is he ended up updating the title, I guess, because he was getting shit. I love how the Ukrainian flag is just a blue Lego on top of a yellow Lego. It's actually meant to represent a blue sky and a field of grain. Like, Ukraine is, like, famous for its grain exports when it's not getting bombed to absolute shit. Hold on. Ukraine, grain, field. Yeah, there's some proper Ukraine grain. Look at this image, and it shouldn't take you long to guess what the inspiration for their flag was. Are you seeing it? Do you get it now? Yeah. The yellow, blue. That's the flag. Anyway. That's your Ukrainian lore lesson for the end of this. Fuck Hasan, that war criminal apologist. That is the final message of this segment. What do you guys think of that segment? I feel like it came out pretty good. What do y'all think? Based, good segment. Ah, yeah, I just cracked my shoulder and my other shoulder. Nice. Fuck Hasan is indeed always a good message. Someone told me the blue was for the sea and the yellow was for the land, but they were probably just being an asshole. Yeah, no, whoever said that was just dumb. You can literally Google what the colors in the Ukraine flag represent. Hello, Xanderhall, you're mega based. I want to let you know I sent you an easy React video to watch if you need something simple and fun to do. Okay, let's check this out. Aye, what'd you send me?
So as many of you guys...
Whoa! Chill out. Okay, I'll check this out, Cherry. This could be a good segment. Thank you. Orthers Dirk, thank you for the tier 1 gifted sub to Zoomy, dear. I really appreciate it. Thank you for the $5. Very based and kind of you. Says, thank you for being a dear. And then a little uwu face. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Nice pun. Chris473, thank you for the $10 donation. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Says, how are the quails, Xanderhall? No quail yet. I don't have quail yet, because currently I'm living in, like, a rental unit that's, like, I don't have a backyard. I don't have, like, space for quail. But at the end of December, January 1st is my move-out date here. Like, my lease here ends on January 1st. And I will be moving in before January 1st into my new place, where I will have a backyard, and that will be the place that I start doing quail. Probably around the spring is when I'm going to start incubating them. So they'll be, you know, hatched and they'll be babies during the summer and they'll grow up and they'll have like their childhood during the spring and summer. And they'll be grown up and like matured by the time winter comes. So, you know, they'll be a little more hardy for the colder days and stuff like that. I'll keep them warm, but I want to make sure when winter comes, they're not literally chicks. So there's a bit of logistics that goes into it, but quail are coming soon. And I really appreciate your support because you guys donating helps me get closer to us having those quail. Connor McMahon, thank you for the $5 euro pound dollars over in YouTube chat. Says, hi, Zan, I've just turned 21 years old. Congratulations. Happy birthday. And I'm starting it off right with some dunking on Hasan. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Happy birthday. Thank you. Thank you. And Periwinkle43, thank you for the tier 1 sub. I really appreciate that. Thank you for the $5. Very kind of you. Said, love your stream. Zan Hart, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. That is really, really kind and nice of you. I really do appreciate it. Remember, guys, if you want to support me, you don't have to donate or give me any money. You can simply hit the like button. Just going over to YouTube and hitting that thumbs up button really does go a long way. And it really helps the channel a lot, I promise. All right. I guess this time I put the video into full screen and it didn't automatically start playing. It happens like 50% of the time. YouTube is so fucking weird. Xander Hall is my favorite trans content creator. Cherry, that is a funny joke. Thank you. Anyway, you all know what to do when I say action, right? 3, 2, 1, action. Okay, everybody. Today, I am going to subject you all to a deep, dank, weird corner of the internet that I imagine many of you are either not familiar with or have a passing familiarity with and have likely been too afraid or grossed out to actually delve into this area of online content. We're going to be talking about lolcows. Now, this topic isn't exactly anything I've, like, not talked about in the past. Like, I've talked about kiwi farms, I've talked about Chris Chan. The, like, topic of lolcows has been discussed before. But for those that don't know, lolcow is a term that is technically apolitical. But if you're a lefty on the internet, or part of a marginalized group on the internet, chances are you heavily associate its usage with people on the far right. What lolcow means is essentially an individual from whom you milk lols like you would milk a cow. Lols being laughter, funnies, jokes, enjoyment. Now, to be fair, this definition has actually expanded pretty far beyond the literal definition of lolcow. I think a lot of people who've been labeled lolcows are followed and obsessed over for reasons that aren't actually meant for humor or funniness at this point. Like, I feel like a lot of the time, most internet lolcows, as they've been dubbed, aren't really being milked for lols so much as something else. But, nonetheless, the topic of lolcows, while on the left very heavily associated with the far right, technically is a pretty apolitical and broadly popular topic. If you go into any mainstream internet space, you're going to find people who know who Chris Chan is and think like documentaries about Chris Chan are interesting. Like, that's just a thing that is going to happen. It is not an exclusively far-right thing, and I feel like a lot of lefties do a disservice to themselves by acting as though that topic should be left and reserved exclusively to the far right, because discussing these things is, I guess, too lowbrow or something. But no, I want to talk about this. There is a significant community of people online who obsess, and I do think that's a fair way of putting it, obsess, in the same way one might someone who they are a fan of, over people that they hate. Online internet figures. A good example of someone who's a lolcow is Keemstar. Keemstar is objectively a lolcow. The internet has kind of bullied and fucked with him for a long time, but he is arguably one of the more successful of the lolcows. A better and more textbook definition would be Chris Chan. But I could go on, right? There's like DSP, Wings of Redemption, Boogie2988, right? These are all people who qualify as lolcows. One of the most huge commonalities in these people's character and lives is A, they are depressed, and thus tend to have very poor skills in regards to, like, control of their emotions. Like, they'll get upset on stream, and instead of being able to, like, stop themselves from having an outburst, take a deep breath and, like, express their emotions in a way that isn't weird looking. Dream is also a lolcow now. Instead, they'll have, like, a meltdown on stream that gets clipped and, you know, people post it around that it goes viral. Or, for example, a lot of them are, like, very obviously grifting and just trying to like do whatever they do for money. A lot of them aren't very successful financially, and so like the fact that they don't have much money but still have to make content is kind of held over their heads by their audiences of anti-fans as a way of like forcing them to stick around for the bullying that they are, you know, forced to endure day by day. And this type of content creation and consumption is a really popular niche online. A really big and popular niche online, and one that the left just doesn't really touch because it's kind of dirty, for lack of a better term. However, I think it's worth throwing my voice into the ring of this topic if everyone else is going to be. Because, hell, if there's going to be a lefty voice out there discussing this stuff, it might as well be me. Bo Blacks recently put out a video called Boogie2988 Crawls for Keemstar and Begs on Lolcow Live Podcast. I want to talk today about the absolute pitiful degeneracy of the Lolcow content community online. The people who create it, the people who consume it, the people who just feed into it and enable it, how just weird and embarrassing it is. Because I feel like a lot of you have no idea how degenerate the depths of this topic can get. Anyway, here's the video. Let's check it out. Apparently, the background of this is that Boogie, Keemstar, and some other people who have been deemed lolcows by the internet run a podcast called the Lolcow Podcast. A very lolcow thing to do is to make a podcast centered around being lolcows and trying to monetize that. Wings apparently is in it. Yeah. The only things I know about this is from what I've heard on PKA, which is, of course, the podcast that Wings of Redemption started and then was vetoed out of because he's so unlikable.
So as many of you guys know, I have probably been the person to document Keemstar the most out of anybody on YouTube. And I'm not joking when I say that one of the most insane and hilarious clips of Keemstar just got released today. So for context, Keemstar has started a project called Lolcow Live, where Boogie2988, Wings of Redemption, and Tommy C do a podcast together, and then the farmers consisting of Turkey Tom, Mudahar from Some Ordinary Gamers, and Nicholas Diorio react and laugh at those Lolcow podcast episodes. But before this format for the show was announced, Boogie and Mudahar got into some drama unrelated to the podcast, which caused Mudahar to make a response video on his 3 million subscriber channel. Something that Boogie would obviously be dying to respond to, but was holding himself back as he promised that he would only talk about drama on Keemstar's Lolcow podcast. But with the podcast being a week away from launching, and Boogie being Boogie, he couldn't help himself and decided to go on to review tech.
Do you guys know, like, the masculine urge to take, like, a man whose life is completely fucked and help him fix it? I'm pretty sure that's not just me. I'm pretty sure that's, like, a masculine urge type thing. To find a dude whose life is just completely fucked and to, like, guide him to getting his life... that's, like, a primal thing? Yeah, I think so. That no one gives me that feeling more than Boogie. I feel like if Boogie was willing to, like, make me essentially his boss for, like, 6 months, I could transform him mentally and physically into, like, a different person, and a better person at that. Like, so much of his problems, in particular, because I've known of Boogie for a very long time, you know? I can fix him. I've known of Boogie for a very long time. So much of his problems are literally just the fact that you know this guy sits alone a lot and just self-abuses, like, mentally. Like, just shit-talks himself and puts himself down and is addicted to self-pity. And that's the kind of thing, just having someone in your life who doesn't let you have those moments ever, at least until you're, like, at a point in your life where that's not a thing you're dealing with anymore, is really, like, the best way to deal with it. Probably the biggest fall from grace in the entire internet. Yeah, definitely. One of the biggest. Without having committed... Oh, God. Without having committed any, like, moral atrocities or crimes.
in order to talk to him about this drama, which caused Keemstar to absolutely lose it in Review Tech USA's stream chat, claiming twice that Boogie has been kicked from Lolcow Live. And if you thought that was an overreaction, listen to these voice memos Keemstar left Boogie right after he...
So, here's where I want to talk about the reason that I'm covering this, besides Cherry sending it to me and, you know, it's interesting. The reason... Something that I think a lot of lefties don't understand is that to hold left-wing positions sincerely, so I'm not talking about, like, your tanky grifter types and your, like, woke skull types, to hold progressive left-wing positions sincerely, fundamentally, you have to care about other people. You fundamentally need to be an empathetic person who is capable of understanding how other people feel, caring about how other people feel, and caring about the well-beings of others, even if it doesn't affect you. It's a low bar by our standard, but that's a pretty high bar to set in like modern society and in like everyday modern society, right? And especially so on the internet. One thing about the internet that has always been true is that people who use it have always felt special. A lot of people on the internet, they feel as though once they're behind a keyboard, they are under a different set of rules than they are when they're outside the house, existing in the social space publicly. The social rules, the rules of engagement are different, the expectations of how you behave are different, the anonymity adds a whole other layer to things, and a lot of people are willing to let their true colors shine in ways that they aren't in real life. And in a lot of ways, people are encouraged to behave in ways they truly aren't at their core because it's so normalized online. That's what you're expected to be. You're expected to be a bit of a keyboard warrior, like an asshole troll online, because that's what people on the internet do. Even if that's not really who you are, you're kind of influenced into it to an extent. Some people are truly like that and are just enabled by the internet. I could go on, right? One undeniable truth of a lot of people is that people like watching train wrecks. It is really hard for the average person to look away from the train wreck happening. That is the same psychology behind the Lolcow. The average Lolcow, like the more popular ones I should say, not the average, are people like Wings of Redemption. He's the guy I know the most about. Someone whose life is so utterly fucked, all because of his own decisions, that it's almost hard to feel bad for him because of how many opportunities to fix his life he's had that he's refused to take. It makes it really hard to feel bad, and that's one of the most common through lines in these people. Which is why there is such a massive community of people online who both A, have the morbid curiosity factor of not being able to look away from the train wreck of these people's crumbling lives that are being broadcasted to the internet, and B, the fact that a lot of these people almost seem like they deserve the bad things happening to them because they've had so many untaken opportunities to make their lives better that they didn't take. Remember, a lot of these people are YouTube content creators who had it big, who made millions off of YouTube at one point, then blew it all on gambling, or in the case of Wings of Redemption, trucks and Wendy's, and now have like no money and have to stream for like a pittance daily in order to keep the bills paid. This all usually comes along with a very unlikable personality. And because of this, there's a huge mainstream normie audience for consuming Lolcow content, which is why I think it's dangerous for the left to assume that this is a exclusively right-wing content medium, because if you just immediately claim everybody who consumes Lolcow content is a Nazi or an alt-righter or a chud, you're insulting a lot of people who legitimately might agree with you on a lot of stuff politically, but have no idea how much of this community can get, like, pretty awful. And that is to say, at the end of the day, there's no denying that the core of Lolcow culture is cruelty. You have to be a fundamentally cruel person to some extent to enjoy Lolcow culture. And I say that about my friends who I know that enjoy Lolcow culture. To some extent, you do have to fundamentally enjoy some level of cruelty in order to enjoy that type of content. And that cruelty is, I think, one of the barriers that does keep a fair amount of people from being as open to more hyper-progressive positions. And when I say hyper-progressive, I mean getting to the point where you see this Lolcow stuff and you find it disgusting rather than interesting. Yeah, Noonfish.
Left a Review Tech USA stream at Keem's request.
Fuck you and your stupid fucking head. Your fucking retarded fucking head. I talked to you before you went on. In my other group chat, people were like, oh, Boogie's calling into Rich. I fucking called you. We spoke. I said, don't give Rich the tea. Your exact words to me were, oh, I'm just going to go on there and tell him I'm busy, right? So you call into Rich. You tell him I'm busy. He starts milking you. You start answering every fucking question because you're an attention fucking freak. And then you have a face-off with Muta on Rich's stream. The face-off between you and Muta should be on your podcast. That's monetized, that you make money on. Fuck you and your stupid fucking head. This is not a mistake. This is not an accident, you fucking retard. You did this on purpose. I talked to you before you went in. I fucking hate you. Fuck you. All the time and effort into this fucking show to help you guys out, and you can't do the simplest task. I fucking hate you. I hate you. I hate you. Retard.
Yeah, obviously I fucked up. I was just going to go there to promote the show. I didn't know Muta was going to come in there and pull his shit. I should have left when Muta showed up and said, save it for the show. But you're right. I respect your decision. Let me know if you need any of the passwords or anything like that. I'll be glad to hand them over. And let me have a change.
I really wish.
And also, you didn't call
I really wish Boogie had a spine.
me, and you didn't talk to me. You sent me a message here, but you didn't call and talk to me. We didn't talk. I mean, I understand you're upset right now, but we didn't talk.
I need you to fuck off. Like, seriously, fuck off. I need you to get on your fucking hands and knees.
All of these audio clips need to become like audio memes, okay? Like all of these clips of Keemstar screaming need to become audible memes that get used like as clips in YouTube poops and shit.
Have your girlfriend fucking film you and say, I'm sorry, Keemstar. I'm sorry, Jordy. I'm sorry, fucking Tommy C, Nicholas Diorio, Muta, fucking Tom, everybody that's even fucking cared about the Lolcow podcast. I'm such a selfish attention fucking retard that I want attention. I want to be in conversation so bad that I gave the entire storyline of what's been happening on episode 1 to fucking Review Tech USA, because I'm so thirsty to talk to someone. I'm that big of a fucking loser. Make that video, you piece of shit.
I'm sorry, Tommy C. I'm sorry, Daddy Keemstar. I'm sorry, Nicholas Di Fiorio. I don't know how to pronounce him.
What do I even say, dude? You know Boogie follows me on Twitter? What do I even say? Like... I so badly wish... Like, I still hope to see a happy ending come out of most of these people, for them to actually, like, improve and get their lives together. But for the love of God, Boogie needs to stop literally groveling for the approval of these people that literally hate him and use him as a living joke and as, like, a circus clown for their carnival. And, like, have some self-respect, stand up for himself, focus on his own content and self-improvement. What people want to see, what I actually think would do better than like people watching his life fall apart, would be people watching him fix his life. I literally never missed a single one of his weight loss update videos when he was doing those videos. I was excited to see his weight loss journey. I was hoping to see a day where Boogie would have, he's got his perfectly new teeth. I was hoping he would get like LASIK eye surgery so he wouldn't have to wear glasses, and he'd get his weight loss done. He would have a physical transformation. Everyone was super excited for that. His viewership was super high. There was more positivity in Boogie's community than I'd ever seen. Back in like 2017 is when he did this big time. Then he got divorced and he kind of fell out of it, but then he got back into it again and things were looking good for a while. But now he's back to doing this shit. He has no shame or ego, is my guess. No, Boogie's he is addicted to self-pity. Boogie is addicted to self-pity. I wouldn't even do this as a sexual submissive. So fucking real.
I'm sorry, Jordy. I'm fucking sorry. It was fucking stupid of me to go on Rich's fucking show and give away the fucking storyline. I'm a fucking attention hog piece of shit. It was fucking stupid. I should have left the moment Muda came on. I'm fucking stupid. And I'm fucking sorry. I understand your decision. I'll hand over any passwords you need, wherever you want. Sorry.
Just want all of us on the same page, all right?
Jesus.
A couple days ago, Boogie's sitting here fucking getting milked by just random people, by Muda, by everybody. And he's giving his response to drama for free on Twitter, just spamming it everywhere. And I say, Boogie, look, all right, no more of that, all right? You want to address drama? You want to address what some people are saying? Some controversy that's going on with Boogie 298? You do it on the podcast. You do it on the podcast where you actually can monetize it and get fucking paid. Boogie, Boogie goes to me,
Keemstar is right. Like, let's be honest here. Keemstar is right. If Boogie's going to do this whole podcast thing and he's getting in drama with someone who he's on the podcast with, in the state, like, Boogie just did a big documentary about how he's in massive financial debt. He needed to have monetized that. Keemstar is right. Like, Keemstar is right. Like, Boogie is an idiot for not monetizing it. Keemstar's literally just mad at Boogie for not monetizing it. Unrelated, but remember the Vosh and Muda collab? Really? That's a thing? I didn't know that was a thing. Muda's been in my chat before. We're mutuals. I'm mutuals with Muda. The Boogie documentary was well made until the credits ended with inspired by Sunny V2. Oh, God. No, I heard the documentary is very pathetic and embarrassing. Yeah, Rare Keem W. Not really a W. He's just correct about what, like, Boogie should do for his own financial, like, security. Because Boogie is apparently, like, financially fucked right now, despite having been one of the first OG big YouTubers, having made a lot of money off the platform, no doubt. I think he's lying about how much he's made, and he's downplaying it. I think he's made more than he says. I think a lot of YouTubers prior to the adpocalypse and even after heavily over-exaggerated how much they got demonetized. I really do. I think a lot of YouTubers in 2016 over-exaggerated how much they got demonetized and how much less money they made from ad pools. Because things are worse now than they were then. And while things could be better, they're pretty good. As in, like, I know based off of my CPM and my income on YouTube, that Boogie, who was pulling multiple millions of views per video at one point prior to the adpocalypse, made millions. Boogie made millions over the course of his YouTube career.
That's a smart idea. That's a really smart idea. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's fucking common sense. There's no intelligence to that whatsoever. A fifth grader could figure that out, right? But you at fucking age 54 haven't figured that out, and you get milked by the fucking most random of person ever. Could just go in and fucking milk you. Get you all riled up. Get you spamming 17 fucking tweets for free. Or teats, really. That's what they're called on a fucking cow. Because you get milked, you fucking dumb, retarded piece of shit. Anyhow, after that life lesson that I gave you, right? I find out in another chat that you're going into Rich's stream, Review Tech USA. He's going in there. I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God. Boogie's gonna go in there and spill all the tea, the beef between him and Muta. He's gonna give it to Rich for free. So I hit you up and I tell you, don't do this. And you promise me that you're not gonna do it. As soon as you get in there, Rich starts milking you, starts saying, whoa, I don't understand. Why didn't you pay off your house? Your stupid ass falls for the bait. Yeah, because I was gonna kill myself and I was gonna do this and I was gonna do that. So I didn't need to pay for a house. If dead people don't need houses. Why is that on Rich's stream? I want the soundbite on your podcast. It should be on your podcast, not on Rich's stream. Then Muta calls in, all right, which again, I'm mad at Muta too, but I...
Fuck Keemstar, he's an awful human being. He, like, it isn't... Also, I think this is public. Yeah, no, I know for a fact this is public. He drunk drives all the time. And also, who remembers that one tweet from him when he tweeted out on Christmas Eve, like 2014, 2015 or something like that? I forget which year it was. He tweeted out, "Oh, fuck, I hit a dog on my way home. Worst Christmas Eve ever." Who remembers that Keem tweet? Connect those two dots. He confirmed it died? Yeah, he confirmed it died, yeah. Poor pupper. Yeah. Our DUI king.
I can't be too mad because he doesn't...
This is my paint. Whiskey. This is my paintbrush. Car. This is my canvas. U.S. highway.
Own this podcast. Boogie, you own it!
When you're right, you're right. I shouldn't have went on Rich's thing. And I definitely should have left when Muta came on. And I shouldn't have been talking about any of that shit. You're right. Again, Mike wants me to promote this doc. I went on to promote the doc. I thought I could also promote the live stream.
Yeah, no, Keem is God's drunkest driver.
But you're right. I'm an easily manipulated asshole. So, I fucked up.
We also have some DMs between Boogie and Keem that took place during and after Boogie's appearance on Review Tech USA's live stream. His name is Rich, so that's what Keem is referring to in this DM, where he says, "Boogie, you only talk about drama on the podcast. Don't give this to Rich." Boogie responds, "Ah well, I'll just pop in and say hi. No drama. I don't even know what he wants to talk about." Keemstar says, "Boogie, he's milking you aboard." Boogie!
Like, dude, imagine if Boogie had a Wrangler. Imagine if I was Boogie's, like, Wrangler, and, like, he wanted to go on a podcast like that, and I was like, nope. Don't you dare. Just slap his hand when he goes to the thing. Like, he needs a handler. He needs a Wrangler. He needs somebody to, like, keep him from, doing stupid, self-destructive shit. Like his pants. Do you guys... Okay, chat, have you guys never heard the term retard Wrangler? You guys have never heard that term? I was using the shorthand for it. But that, yeah.
Boogie, leave now! God damn it! Why the fuck are you giving this all to Rich? The entire first episode of the podcast is ruined. Why are you doing this? Why? Boogie, you were kicked off the show. Go fuck yourself. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck! I fucking hate you! Boogie responds, "Yeah, I respect that." Keemstar.
Oh my god, he has no spine, dude. He has no fucking spine. It's so sad to watch. Oh, it's so sad to watch, man.
Says, "Do you need attention that much that you just give away our entire fucking second episode? Fucking shoot yourself in the face and end it right now! God, I fucking hate you. Literally the easiest task in the world. You're retarded too, Nick. You don't care if the show fucking succeeds or not. You just want to see the fucking tea, and you got it tonight early. Fuck you." Boogie responds, "Well, I had no clue Muta was gonna come and show his ass, but I respect your decision, Keem. In retrospect, I should have left when your boy decided to pull his shit, but whatever. Be well, and good luck with the show." Keemstar responds, "Fuck you, retard." And then Boogie says, "Roger." So while this DM conversation was happening between Boogie and Keem, this is what was going on at the same time on Rich's live stream.
I'm so sorry. I'm dealing with some shit. Read your tweet again, if you don't mind.
When you tell people a girl you meet just turned 18, it creeps us all out. You're a gross.
See, I never said that though. So that's
Keemstar said that. Keemstar told us.
Yeah, but I didn't, and that's what's important. You said that I said it.
Okay, so then
you said that I said it. You said that I said it. You said that I said it. You just there.
Yeah, because
read it again.
Said that you said it.
But I never did.
What am I gonna do?
Well, anyway.
Okay, then
so
Keemstar
Keemstar. Hey,
there you go.
Lolcow chat.
Okay. To be fair, I have seen the full context of where this is coming from, where this clip is taken from, and Boogie is unironically correct here, and Muda was wrong. Unironically, it's true. I think Muda was probably being facetious, knew that he was wrong here, and just trying to like goad and talk shit and have fun. So I think he probably knows he was wrong here, but Boogie was correct. Boogie, from what he has said, there is no evidence whatsoever, as far as I'm aware, especially not from anything he has said, that he knew the woman that he is currently dating prior to her being 18 years old. From what I've heard, he met her when she was like 19, and they started dating when she was 20 or 21. I forget which of those two. But he did not know her before or when she turned 18, only after. Muda specifically tweeted, "When you tell people your girlfriend just turned 18." Now, Boogie is calling out Muda for saying Boogie said something that he did not say. Yeah, it is definitely weird. It's weird. I'm not even commenting on the weirdness of it, considering Boogie's age and age gap, all that stuff, yeah. But we're talking about, like, who is correct in calling out who here. It is true that Muda lied in saying that Boogie effectively admitted to being a pedo, essentially, like, heavily implied that, when Boogie has said nothing of the sort. Boogie is directly calling out the tweet by quoting the tweet in which Muda says that Boogie said that. Muda denies it, but Boogie doesn't know how to deal with someone just denying someone said something the evidence is right in front of them having said, right? Like, he doesn't know how to handle that, so Boogie just breaks down and starts saying, I didn't say that, I didn't say that, I didn't say it, I didn't say it, I didn't say it, over and over again, in, like, kind of a half meltdown. He doesn't know how to deal with conflict like this, even when he's actually right. Arguably correct, at least on this, like, very select part of the issue.
Sorry,
why do you
live
work with the
stream.
guy that just slandered you? What the fuck? You're such a bitch.
I'm a forgiving guy, man. Why? Fuck it. Keemstar's gonna make me money. I'm just here to make money. Well, anyway,
I wasn't gonna mention a private
Keemstar's
chat.
asking me to save it for the Lolcow podcast. I'm gonna save it for the Lolcow podcast.
And that comment of Muda calling Boogie a bitch aged like fine wine, considering that not even an hour after that, Boogie was literally on his hands and knees begging for forgiveness from Keemstar, who a couple minutes prior just told him to kill himself. But as pathetic as Boogie is acting in this situation, Keemstar is not off the hook either, as I think everyone can agree that Keemstar's reaction to Boogie going on Rich's stream was way over the top and pretty unjustified, considering that the Lolcow podcast never even planned to have a confrontation between Boogie and Muda directly, as the format is Boogie doing a podcast with Wings and Tommy, and then Muda reacting to it after the fact with Nicholas Diorio and Turkey Tom. So the confrontation that happened on Rich's stream is something we never would have gotten with the Lolcow podcast anyways. As for the logic behind people not watching the Lolcow podcast because the confrontation happened on Rich's stream, I think it's kind of flawed, because Rich's podcast was just one instance of Boogie talking about drama, and more drama is undoubtedly going to happen with him in the future. So if anyone wants to see that consistent output of Boogie's take on his own drama, that's going to be on the Lolcow podcast, which was heavily promoted by Boogie during that live stream.
Anyway, by the way, I'm not even supposed to talk about this stuff here. You gotta go to the Lolcow podcast. You want to hear shit like this. Go follow the Lolcow podcast. You'll be really glad you did. Everybody go right now to the Lolcow podcast. Lolcow live on YouTube. Lolcow live on Twitch. Lolcow live on Instagram. I mean, at the end of the day, I said this on the Lolcow podcast. You'll have to wait to hear it there. But you want to hear my point of view of it, you got to listen to the Lolcow podcast.
Keemstar's yelling at me saying that I'm milking Boogie.
Everybody
Because we both have breasts.
Keemstar is going to be happy, and I'll tell you why, because I'm telling everyone here that they have to subscribe to the Lolcow podcast if they want to see me, Tommy C, Shorty, Mudahar, Keemstar fucking going at each other's throats fucking one day a week for the rest of your lives until one of us blows our brains out. Get Lolcow podcast,
No one's
live,
blowing
Lolcow
their
live.
fucking brains out.
Follow it on the YouTubes or however one of us does.
Dude, this isn't even the dingiest corner of like Lolcow tube. This isn't even the dingiest corner of that side of the internet. I promise you it's not. It's so far. Like, this is like being in the, like the 5 foot deep end of the pool and thinking you're in the deep end. And you're in the pool you're in gets down to 24 feet. Like one of those really cool swimming pools. It goes super fucking deep. I always loved those. Anyway.
Guys gets hit by a truck, whatever, I don't know. But follow us at Lolcow Live. You can find us on YouTube, you can find us on Instagram, you can find us on Twitter, you can find us everywhere.
As well as promoted by Keemstar in the chat, and linked directly by Chris the Narc 8 separate times. So anybody watching the confrontation on Rich's stream is well aware of the existence of the Lolcow podcast, and know where to find more boogie drama content if they want to see that. If anything, giving them a little taste of what could be on that podcast through Rich's stream would incentivize people to watch Lolcow, not turn them away. What does turn them away is the incessant promotion of the
I care less about this, like, sort of resolving issue thing at the end of the video. But, like, do you guys see how a lot of the purity of the left, when it comes to the type of media you're allowed to talk about, consume, or discuss, could lead to a certain amount of alienation when this is the kind of stuff that's popular online? I don't think the left should lean into this kind of stuff exactly, but I also don't think the left should avoid acknowledging it like it's some kind of like lowbrow, we're above it kind of situation. This kind of stuff's really popular with people, and those that tend to make content around Lolcow culture, while not always, do tend to be pretty right-wing. And while the audience that consumes it does not tend to be pretty right-wing, that should tell you that we need people out there making content that are at least acknowledging that sphere of the internet. You know, funnily enough, the left is not immune to doing the Lolcow phenomenon itself. Although I'd admit if the left was a little better at it, then I think the left would have a little more cultural staying power online. Like, for example, take like Trigglypuff or like Big Red. Those are immediately recognizable figures that just went viral in videos because they were feminists or progressive from like many years ago, and yet you still see them in far-right thumbnails, and they're extremely recognizable characters. But like, it's very possible in a year people won't recognize heel versus babyface as the guy who did fucking pronouns. Like, unless it gets really mainstream like attention, usually someone who was like one of those little bugs that got in through my window. Fuck. I didn't get it, guys. I missed it. It'll just occasionally fly around my face. It's a mosquito. Fucking hate mosquitoes. Yeah, they're trying to escape the cold. Anyway, yeah, like, I feel like if the left was more willing to Lolcowify people and culturally spread the memes about it like the right does, then we could see someone like heel versus babyface and the fucking pronouns thing be a meme that is downright inescapable. You'd see it everywhere, and the right wouldn't be able to hear the end of it. But the left doesn't really do that for some reason. There is at least a tiny fragment of truth to the claim that the right likes to repeat that the left can't meme. Anyway, what do you guys think of that segment? I feel like it came out pretty good. I'm pretty sleepy, so I think I got one more segment left in me today. 1 sec. Okay, hopefully this news channel doesn't copyright me. It seems like I should be fine. Okay. You all know what to do when I say action, right? 3, 2, 1, action. All right, everybody. So this is possibly the most online left story I've ever covered. I'm pretty sure up until today, this might have actually been a meme online. Like an over-exaggerated meme about how politically inept a lot of tankies and woke scolds and young baby lefties on TikTok and what have you will be, and how willing they are to jump on board with radical positions without any forethought whatsoever. I'm pretty sure this was an example of a joke in that realm, alright? Osama bin Laden letter goes viral on TikTok. Gen Z has discovered a letter that has recently surfaced from bin Laden, Osama bin Laden, who has been quite long dead now, that was titled A Letter to America. And I guess it is the first time many of these people have heard, like, a narrative about American foreign policy and politics that isn't the nonsense you hear peddled in a lot of, like, schools and media. And it blew their minds so much. Many of them are just unironically pro-Bin Laden now. Just straight up. And many of them are unironically like, yeah, no, okay, 9/11 was good. Possibly the biggest internet lefty moment of this century. I haven't looked too deep into this, but what I've seen a lot of are tweets that are screenshots of TikToks of these, like, 20-something-year-old women who've taken who have, like, it's like a picture of them folding laundry or something, and it's captioned, "My face after finishing my read of Letter to America," and it's them looking like their lives have changed and their entire perspective has changed. And it's like, really? A letter from Osama bin Laden is what radicalized you? Deeply disappointed in my generation? Truly, truly, truly. Let's take a look at this news article on it. Or, not article, but news story. This video. Osama bin Laden letter goes viral.
And the TikTok videos related to this are being either have been or are being taken down. The discussion continues though, and we have with us Colby Hall right now, found in the...
Yeah, apparently Osama bin Laden liked watching anime and playing video games. I don't know how much of that is a meme, but I've seen a lot of people saying that as if it's like 100% serious. And I choose to believe it. I choose to believe that he was a weeb who played video games and was a neat. He was also a Hasan fan.
Editor of Mediaite, News Nation contributor.
You win chat today, roundabout.
So again, TikTok, I guess, says it's taking some actions. It's going to remove some of this the content as it finds it. It's going to scrub it. Okay, that's the latest. That said, I mean, I think we're all kind of taken aback, those of us of a certain age at least, when we saw this today. I mean, what was your, first of all, your reaction, more or less?
He was a lolicon too. Lots of weebs are. I'm less concerned with the fact that he was a lolicon and more concerned with the fact that he almost certainly had underage wives and mistresses.
Analysis.
And what a tragic and disgraceful turn of events that you have sort of, I see this less as a TikTok problem, more as an American youth culture problem. And by the way, not all American youths are doing this.
No shit.
People would read this copy that was flatly anti-American and anti-Semitic and find empathy with the words of Osama bin Laden, who's responsible for the death of nearly 3,000 innocent Americans, is really sort of pathetic and sad, and it shows how far we've gone. Not only did they find sympathy, but they decided to record themselves and amplify how impressed they were just for clicks. And TikTok has addressed it.
I like how this mainstream news organization is extra mad about how people are like the one thing that might have come. I haven't read this, so I'm not going to like say it's good or bad as far as like the takes in it or the claims made in it or the writing in it. But my guess is there's some probably decent takes on the like arguably decent takes on the Israel-Palestine thing. I doubt he's arguing for a two-state solution, but I imagine he just like lists a bunch of war crimes and awful things that Israel has done to the Palestinians, and the U.S.'s support of Palestine is probably the main like focus. And if it's just that, then like, yeah, he talks about Jews a lot. Okay, so is it actually like full of anti-Semitism? And that wouldn't surprise me. Vosh has read it. It's just a few correct points that come from wildly incorrect basis. That doesn't surprise me. Yeah, it's about what I'd expect. What I'm imagining is that there's like one or two pretty solid arguments about U.S. foreign policy and like Israel and Palestine stuff surrounded by insane ramblings and radicalizing nonsense. And it is a really bad thing that so many Gen Zers read that and were like, yo, Osama bin Laden based, bro.
They've taken them down. I don't think that this is a Chinese Communist Party designed to split up America. I do think that there's way too many young Americans that don't understand the horrors of 9/11.
Let's talk about that a little bit, the age, because the age in general, even with the war that's going on now, is a big story about what's happening with all the protests and how old people are protesting the college campuses and all the rest. We have a pie chart, I think, that'll show the age of, people and how it relates to 9/11. This is important, I think. I'm 46, so I was 24 on September 11th of 2001. I was a local radio reporter at the time. I covered 9/11. I covered the attacks, the aftermath. I have a certain perspective on it. You have a certain perspective on it.
Many will say this is a bad thing. This is inarguably a good thing. More people getting into voting age that don't remember 9/11 is objectively good. 9/11, as horrible of a tragedy as it was used by the worst people in American politics to instill some of the worst anti-freedom policies of all time. I'm sorry. Like you guys know, the creation of the Department of Homeland Security was because of 9/11. Like the fucking what was it? The act that like super invaded a shit ton of our fucking privacy. What was it called? The Patriot Act? I remembered on my own. Nice. Yeah, the Patriot Act. TSA is because of 9/11. These all came about because like right-wing psychos wanted to clamp down on our freedoms, and they used 9/11 as an excuse. And people's fear of 9/11 is what garnered the support for these people that instilled these policies. People hitting voting age that don't even remember 9/11 is a good thing. Trust me.
There's a lot of people who were born.
They're able to look at it objectively. Maybe they lost family to it. I know people who lost family to 9/11, actually. Well, I don't currently know them, but I've known people who lost family to 9/11. But it's a tragedy that exists in recent history, but it is not something that they have been in their lifetime filled with propaganda and fear-mongering over, for the most part. Obviously, as more time passes, this phenomena will become even more obvious, but yeah. I was 16 when 9/11 happened. It can't be understated just how much America lost its damn mind after it happened. Do you know how dangerous it must have been to be like publicly, openly Muslim in America the day after 9/11? The danger was coming from the people. Those same people are being replaced by newer generations who weren't around for that fear-mongering, that hatred and that fear and that bigotry. My grandma took off her scarf because she was scared. Doesn't surprise me. I'd be afraid of a hate crime in that situation too. Oh yeah, Islamophobia fucking exploded? Of course it did. Yeah.
after 9/11. And as you said, not all of them have this perspective where they would look at it and take this course of action. But it does bring up this wider question of what's going on right now with young people and how they feel about their own country. I mean, we see it in the protests too. I mean, what is it? What's going on here with age?
You know, never forget was what we said a lot after 9/11. And I live 20 blocks from World Trade Center and remember it very, very clearly. You know, people, a lot of kids that were born after that didn't have anything to forget. And I think maybe we've failed them by teaching them what a horrible, it was the worst attack on American soil ever. And the fact that they would sort of not make light of that, but find sympathy with Osama bin Laden is disgusting. The other issue is that, as the graphic just said, so many of these young people are getting their news from TikTok.
Yes.
And again,
he's actually based here. What he just said is, our one-sided teaching of 9/11 is just the biggest tragedy ever in American history, and leaving it at that is what is leaving this generation open to this propaganda. If we actually taught in our schools about how the U.S.'s dog shit foreign policy led to 9/11 happening, and actually, like, we didn't, like, essentially lie to kids so that they would be exposed to a tiny grain of truth along with more lies and get radicalized because they found out that, like, some of what they learned was bullshit. Like, it's like he's saying that we're doing it a service by not giving the appropriate context to future generations about what led to 9/11. We caused it. We didn't do it. We didn't ask for it. We didn't have it coming, but we caused it. Our actions caused it. And it could have been prevented. It could have been prevented a million times over. It could have been prevented. Going back decades and decades and decades of U.S. foreign policy, it could have been prevented. And if we taught that in schools, I think there'd be a lot less kids on TikTok talking about how this letter from Osama bin Laden radicalized them and opened their eyes.
TikTok isn't necessarily like an outlet, a journalistic outlet. It's just a forum for people to put up stuff that they want.
But it's gone up a lot.
No one really
for news.
Right. Well, and not many people that put videos on TikTok abide by any journalistic standards whatsoever. In fact, they're typically, what we're seeing here, trying to say outlandish and crazy things
to get clicks,
to chase clicks,
well, to get
to
taps.
get attention.
Can I ask you one more question, just because I'm sorry to cut you off, just for the sake of time? Are we sure? Do you have any concern that about the legitimacy of all of this? In other words,
that is crazy. 32% of young adults get news from TikTok. 32% of Gen Zers that are adults get their news from TikTok. We're doomed. That is adult Gen Zers, guys. There's a really good George Carlin quote, by the way. This is nothing new, though, to be fair. There's a really good George Carlin quote that goes as follows. I hope I don't butcher it on accident. I'm sorry if I do. Think about how average... Sorry. Nope, already fucked it up. Think about how stupid the average person is. Now remember the fact that half of them are dumber than that. Yeah. I say those numbers are honestly about there. Those numbers are about on point.
You know, do we know these are real kids saying what they're saying? I mean, it brings up this wider question. We're going into an election year. There'll be a lot of stuff online. How do we know what's real, what's viral, what we should believe?
So this came to newsmakers' attention because it was tweeted by Yashar Ali, who's a big influencer, and he said thousands of these videos. It's a massive amount of content. You can't count. Are there really thousands? There are, even if there's a dozen, that's enough, right? I think maybe it's not as big a trend and viral as we think, but even a little bit should be, blinking red light that we need to address this somehow. And I'm that's a conversation for another day.
No, it is. Legitimately, it's a point that should be talked about, and we did. But that other question also about, hey, let's be careful about what we're watching online and how do we know it's real is another thing, especially in an election year. So anyway.
Exactly right.
I know you're on top.
AI is going to make this election year so fucking weird. The amount of fake AI, obviously fake AI images that are going to get passed around by Republicans as, like, real, that are going to deny it when you say that is obviously AI. Look at, like, the hands and how they're just blobs. And they're going to deny it and say, no, this is a real photo of Joe Biden killing a kid. It's like, no, it's not. Yes, it is. Like, this election's going to be fucking wild, dude. AI needs to be made illegal immediately.
Top of all of this, what a time to be following media. Colby Hall with this News Nation contributor. Thanks so much for watching.
Zan, here's a cringe example of the left on this. Can pretty safely state that Bin Laden and I did not agree on much, but blowing up the World Trade Center is probably the most principled and defensible thing he ever did. This tweet has been deleted. 137 quote tweets. Ugh. This person called Keffels a fascist grifter. Not surprising. Not surprising. Most people who hate Keffels are pretty insane. Especially on the left. Especially so on the left. What a crazy time we're in. Goddamn Zoomers. How'd you guys enjoy that segment? I feel like it came out pretty damn good. I'm glad to think you guys thought it was good. Glad to hear you guys thought it was good. I'm so tired today, I can't even talk. Softest Leftist, thank you for the tier 1 sub. I really appreciate it. Thank you for the $5. Very based of you. Very pog. Said, oh my god, this Bin Laden shit feels like watching little tears in the fabric of reality opening. Real. Actually real. Thank you for the support, guys. Listen, everyone. You have all been truly, unbelievably kind. I really do appreciate all of your support and kindness. I will be going live tomorrow, hopefully later. Not later, earlier. See, I can't talk. I'm so tired. I hope to go live a little earlier. And, yeah, it should be good. It should be pog. Gonna do some more segments tomorrow. It'll be a fun time. And I hope to see you all there. So with all that said, thank you all so much for watching. And as always, have a good one.